That's ABC's Jay O'Brien. Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall will be delivering her State of the City address tonight. It'll take place at City Library Atrium at 7 p.m. It'll also be streamed on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll have the highlights tomorrow morning on Utah's Morning News. Your money at this moment, the Dow is actually up 241 points, 0.5% to 44,954. Coming up, we still have delays out there on the roadways, despite it being late in the morning. Traffic and weather together coming up next. KSL News Time 9:02. The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Attention home buyers. Want to save hundreds on your mortgage payment or buy a bigger, nicer home? Visit SaveRight.com. This is Rod with the SaveRight team at Realty Path. SaveRight, our name says it all. SaveRight real estate clients often save $300 to $600 a month on their mortgage. Life of loan savings can be over $300,000. SaveRight clients qualify for and buy bigger, nicer homes. Interest rates are around 7%. SaveRight clients can get fixed rates in the 5s. Our affiliate lender makes it all possible. You can even start with a rate in the 2s. If you're buying or selling a home in Utah, save a ton of money. Hire the SaveRight team of realtors. Visit SaveRight.com for more information.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you could get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
If you've ever experienced running out of hot water before your shower was done, or hard water spots on dishes and fixtures, I've got a deal you might be interested in. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and you probably already know that a tankless water heater and a water softener solve both issues. If you've ever thought about looking into getting a tankless water heater, here's the deal I was talking about. Through the end of February, we're including a free water softener with every new tankless water heater we install. The best part of this deal might be that you never have to worry about being the last one to the shower again, or that you don't have to waste the money keeping 40 to 50 gallons of water hot 24/7. To take advantage of this deal, call Any Hour Services before the end of February. The visit's free and there's no obligation to buy. If you decide to have us install a new tankless water heater, we'll throw in the water softener for free. That's right, a free water softener when you purchase a tankless water heater. Pick up the phone and call Any Hour Services right now for all the details. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Here's Heather Kelly.
Traffic is finally moving back at normal speeds on SR 36 heading north toward the I-80. Whatever was causing all that congestion is now cleared out. But we have a crash in Layton. This is on Main Street right at 1600 North. It's affecting traffic both northbound and southbound on Main Street. We're seeing a good block or so of delay there. I-15 still has a few pockets of slow traffic in the typical areas, both directions, trying to get toward downtown Salt Lake. Lagoon is hiring full-time, year-round ride maintenance technicians and electricians with journeyman or apprentice-level experience. Apply online at lagoonpark.com/jobs. Must be 18 years of age or older to apply. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today, sunny with highs in the mid-30s. Warmer later this week, highs in the 50s on Saturday. Right now, though, nowhere close. 19 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Eye on the Hill 2025. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
Kids are having a hard time going to school. The absentee rate in Utah is so high that one Utah lawmaker has made a unique pitch. Let's pay them to go to school. How about paying kids up to $400 a year to show up to class, Dave?
This is so hilarious. We are actually considering paying kids to go to school. Hey, guys, can you stop sloughing? Can you stop skipping class? Here's a little something, here. Maybe buy yourself something pretty. Like, we're going to seriously consider paying kids to show up to school.
I love this pitch, and I'm going to tell you why in a few minutes. And we're also going to take your live calls, 801-575-TALK, as we learn a lot more about this from Holly Richardson, the editor of Utah Policy, also writes for the Deseret News. She's live on the line with us. But the call question that we're going to toss out today, Dave, is, do you like this? I think it's an out-of-the-box idea to pay students to show up to public school. 801-575-TALK. In a few minutes, we're taking your live calls and letting you weigh in as well.
Yeah, think of the chronically absent. That's who we're talking about. We're trying to focus on the kids that are missing huge chunks of school. Is the $400 going to say, entice them to come back? I'm not convinced. $400.
Holly Richardson, editor of Utah Policy, also very closely watching developments on legislation on the Hill. And so glad you're joining us this morning. Class is in session, Holly. You're the teacher. Yeah. Teach us all about what you know about Representative Sarah Hayes' pitch to pay kids to show up.
Well, happy to be here, and it's Sarah Hayes. And
okay.
One of the things that she's doing, so yes, it's $400, but Dave, it's not just handing kids cash. So
okay.
It would actually be put into 529, which is basically an education savings account that they can use later after high school graduation, for example. And it's really trying to get at the core of why are these kids missing so much school. So the benchmark is if they trying to get down below kids missing more than 10%, which is 18 days. So school's in session for 180 days. If they miss 18 or more, that's considered chronically absent. Now, there's a number of reasons right behind those absences. Some of it is illness. Some of it is family situation, or maybe they have a domestic violence situation. They can't go to school for a few days. What's super interesting about the data is that before the 2020 pandemic, 2021, the absentee rate, the chronic absentee rate was somewhere around 16%, but it has popped right up after the kids went back to school to almost 30% in 21 and 22. But it's still down. It still has never returned to pre-pandemic rates. And so there's been an effort over the last couple of years trying to figure out which approach can we use to help encourage kids to get to school.
Does this have any legs on the Hill? Are lawmakers taking this seriously?
Well, I suspect not. I don't know for sure, but Representative Hayes is a Democrat, for one thing. This bill has not been introduced in committee yet, and it doesn't have a fiscal note attached to it. And so we'll see how it goes, but I suspect it doesn't have a ton, but you never know, right? It is an issue that's not partisan, actually, is how do you get kids to go back to school? And to Representative Hayes' point, I think what she's trying to do is say, look, a carrot is better than a stick. So let's see if we can incentivize them. One thing we know about kids, though, is that delayed gratification is not that appealing.
So you're saying
test.
that
Yep.
putting this for up to $400 a year into a 529 college fund that they could use when they decide to go to to extend their educational experience may not be the lure that kids need.
It may not be, right? And for some it may be, and maybe it's just an awareness of the families. Or I even know for myself, like I've taken my child out of school for a family trip, and it's 5 days. and I don't think anything of it, and maybe I should think more of it, right? So there is some data on the 521 website, though, that says that even low savings for a low to moderate income child with savings of $1 to $500 is almost 4 times more likely that child is to graduate from college. Isn't that wild?
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So, but the thing with teenagers, right, especially teens, they just don't really have much of a developed ability to look forward in general, right? Some of them really do, but I don't know if this has much traction. It's certainly a bill to watch, but there's always a plethora of education bills, and the legislature has been working on trying to see if they can pull some levers, but I know school districts have as well. The state school board has. I mean, it's an issue that has to be attacked kind of from all fronts.
So is this $400 a year, or like cumulative, you add it all up together, it'll be $400 by the end?
No, my understanding is it's per year.
Okay, starting like in kindergarten? Or is this just the high school stuff?
Let me see if I can see in the bill if I have an answer to that question.
And this is just while you're looking, Hall. It's just this is a pilot program, right? They would initially launch it in just a handful of schools and give this opportunity to a handful of kids, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is it's a pilot program, and she's asking for some data collection to happen and see if this actually works before it would be implemented on any kind of broader level. And the report back to the legislature on whether a pilot program is even feasible and preliminary participation data would not be due until the very end of 2026. So it's not something that's going to happen right away.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. It's certainly an interesting idea. I think worth debating. Is the carrot better than the stick?
Yeah, what do you think, Dave?
No, it's not better than the stick. The crackdown is far more important than the incentive because Holly pointed it out. Delayed gratification is a really, really good concept, but it's very difficult to ask kids to look 13 years in advance and say, hey, you know what, though? If I have incredible attendance this entire time, I'm going to have thousands of dollars waiting there for me. It makes sense. Who's going to pay for it? And will kids really make decisions like that?
We're going to be taking live calls, 801-575-TALK. Do you like it? Or do you not like thumbs up or thumbs down to this idea of paying kids up to $400 a year to show up to school, to deal with chronic absenteeism? And here's why I like this pitch, because whatever we are doing right now does not seem to be working. When we stand before you and year after year, Dave, you and I talk about this consistently, that we have a problem with chronic absenteeism in this state. That means a lot of kids are not showing up to class, and they're not showing up to class consistently. So if you talk about 18 days out of the year, that's almost a full month, maybe even a little bit more, that they're missing from school. And there's a lot of issues that go along with it. You can say, well, that's somebody else's problem. That's somebody else's child. But when a child is not showing up, or several kids aren't showing up to class, that also causes problems with your own kids, because teachers are spread so thin as it is. They're trying to keep all of the kids on lesson and on point, so they have to work to catch these other children up who are chronically absent. I think there's a number of reasons for chronic absenteeism. There could be some bullying going on that's been unaddressed. Maybe they're embarrassed to tell anybody, so they don't want to go to school. Maybe they've fallen so far behind in a subject that they just feel lost, and so it's not worth going to school. Or maybe we're just not doing something in school these days that really brings kids to school. So much has changed since you and I have been in school that maybe kids are bored by today's lessons. And so why go to school if they're just going to be bored out of their minds? At any rate, whatever we have been trying to do, and it's no offense to any of the school districts or the schools, it's not working if we're still dealing with the same problem. I like the idea of trying something new, and this would be simply a pilot project, $400 a year, and maybe it incentivizes them to save money in their 529 program or plan to go on to getting another degree after high school.
And if you do, say, have this excellent attendance for the 13 years you're in school, you're getting $400 a year. That's $5,200 by the end if you're collecting. But per year, this would cost $260 million. If everybody had perfect attendance, everyone got the $400, that would cost $260 million here in the state.
What I need to see is how much is chronic absentee costing taxpayers. Ben Horsley, the superintendent of the Granite School District, you've been listening to this. Do you like this $400 a year incentive for students to stop being chronically absent?
I don't know, but I will tell you what I do like. I like the outside of the box thinking, and I like that the legislature is trying to help us solve this problem.
How much of this, in your experience, have you seen the carrot working versus the stick, where we're cracking down on kids, we're chasing them down, trying to make sure they're in class? Have you had better experience with the carrot or the stick?
Well, I got to tell you, I have a little bit of a unique experience because I actually teach a core government class. I just actually walked out of it a few minutes ago at Granger High School. I teach that like a regular teacher. I taught it at Skyline last semester, and I had a unique experience at Skyline than I did at Granger High. At Skyline, I saw kids who were more cooperatively and strategic in their absenteeism, and at Granger, I'm experiencing just kids who have never shown up at all. And so to the degree that at Skyline, I was reaching out to some families or to certain individuals when they stopped coming to class. They would be very strategic to make sure they still could pass the class somehow. Whereas at Granger, there's been at least 3 kids I just have not seen since the start of the semester earlier this month, and I'm incredibly worried about. So I do believe there are a little bit of room for both a carrot and a stick, I guess is what I'm saying. But again, we need to think about this problem outside of the box and look at potential solutions. So I fully support a potential pilot of some program that could potentially – we always tell kids this is your job. It's your job to go do well at school. Well, maybe paying them is a way to help increase that participation.
Ben Horsley, superintendent of the Granite School District, thanks so much for stepping out of class to chat with us for just a few minutes on the Granite School District's take on this pitch for the $400 a year payment for students to stop being chronically absent. Taking live calls, 801-575-TALK. I wonder what our listeners think about it, Dave.
It would shock me if there is support. Again, this number that is just making my eyes pop out is $260 million. When you're putting a fiscal note to this and you say, listen, if you show up to school, we're going to give you an extra $400 bonus. That is $260 million. You stretch that over 13 years, and you're talking about billions of dollars. That's what this would cost.
But the part of the equation that you've left out now twice is what does it cost us when students don't graduate as a community and as a state? What does that cost?
Like the long-term effects?
Yeah, what is the long-term effects when people kids who don't show up to class, are chronically absent, don't get enough credits to earn a high school diploma? What does that cost us? I don't know if we're going to be able to sort out that number today, but it's just a curiosity factor for me. Hi, Debbie. It sounds like you are totally against me on this, because I kind of like this idea.
Yeah, I have kids in junior high right now, and I don't think that would work for them. I think that might incentivize parents, but I think the kids who are there every day, who take it seriously, are the ones that are going to be using the 529 and going to college. So if you're going to incentivize, give it to the kids who are already earning it.
Yeah,
or don't do it at all.
No, thank you for the call, Debbie. And the 529 is interesting because it is a savings account. It can earn interest, and that savings account can be used specifically for higher education or apprenticeships. So there are some parameters of how you can spend that money in the 529. It's not like on graduation day, you just give kids $5,000.
So $400 a year, up to $400 a year. At least this is a pilot program right now for kids in public school to show up. They would get paid to go to school. Rick, you live in Centerville. Do you think that this is a good plan, or is it a big thumbs down for you?
Rick, are you with us?
Okay.
Go ahead. Somebody can just start talking. Tell us who you are.
I don't think we have a connection. Let's skip to line 4. Let's skip to Sam in Salt Lake City. Do you think this is a good plan to get kids to get to school?
I want to say, like a previous person you had on, I really liked out of the box thinking, to try to solve the problem. But there are studies, one you mentioned that delayed gratification isn't super effective for especially teenagers or kids in general. But also there are studies where they incentivize kids to do art that they kind of already like doing art, and they did it. And then when they stopped incentivizing, the kids stopped doing art that used to do it on their own anyway. So the brain kind of looks for the reward, and it makes the process of getting to the reward harder, especially if the reward's not there. So I think that's a consideration for doing a program like this that actually could sort of backfire and make it harder for kids to want to go to school.
Sam, thank you. That's an interesting perspective I hadn't really thought of, because I think we do. When we start offering cash to show up to school, we are in a way, and I could see this, diminishing the value of going to school. We're saying, listen, that the reward is you are being educated, that you have communities spending billions of dollars to educate you, to invest in you, that the $400, just kind of waving it in front of the kids, it almost feels a little bit to me like an insult. Like, listen, we're spending $11,000 a year on every single kid, and now we're thinking, yeah, but this $400 is going to make the difference.
But if we showed up to work and didn't get paid, what would we do? Quit. We would quit. There is some incentive baked into our life, our culture, our economy. When we get paid, we show up. It's just how it is. If you don't get paid, you quit, right? When you're an adult and you're working a job and they decide you're going to be voluntold to show up to this job, we say, forget it. We're out. Annabelle, I want to squeeze your call in. What do you think about the $400 a year pitch for students to show up for class?
I think I agree with Dave in that I don't think that kids are really going to grasp it and be incentivized by it until they're probably about 17. That's, I know, when my kids start to get the idea that what I do in school matters for the next phase of my life. Who I think is going to be incentivized by it is their parents.
And maybe that's what you need. You need the parents to crack down on the kids, and maybe we don't just put it on the teachers and the administrators. But there you go. The pitch on the Hill, we'll see if it, gains some traction and grows some legs.
Straight ahead, we're going to dive back into our continuing coverage of President Donald Trump's immigration policy. Yesterday, we spoke live to the mayor of southern border town of Yuma, Arizona.
The federal government is now actually taking responsibility for federal issues and not pushing it off on the local government.
Straight ahead, we're going to go live to Phoenix, Arizona to speak to our colleague at KTAR News Radio. The governor of that state isn't falling in line with President Trump's ICE arrests. We're going to find out more and what that means next.
Join the smartest conversation in Utah, the team of analysts and political advisors that make up Inside Sources. Get unfiltered analysis of the new administration, the president's cabinet, and Utah's upcoming legislative session. Inside Sources, weekdays from 1 to 3 on KSL News Radio.
For over 133 years, Central Bank has been a cornerstone of Utah County, providing generations of families and businesses with trusted community banking services, and are more than just a bank. Central Bank is part of Utah's legacy. With 12 convenient locations across Utah County, Central Bank combines the strength of traditional customer service with the convenience of modern technology. Customized one-to-one service means you're never just another account number, and your phone call actually rings to a real person.
Hi there, thanks for calling Central Bank.
Voted best bank and best mortgage in Utah Valley, Central Bank is here to help you with all your financial needs. From top SBA lending services for small businesses and quick turnaround times on construction loans. They're dedicated to helping you build your future. Whether you're cheering for the Cougars or building your dream home, trust the bank that's been here since the beginning. Central Bank. Strong, local, secure since 1891. Online at cbutah.com or any of 12 Utah County locations. Central Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Utah State Fair Park. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Utah State Fair Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Utah State Fair Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Utah State Fair Park. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Utah State Fair Park. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Utah State Fair Park. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Keep your home comfortable year-round with Golden Rule Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We live the Golden Rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. That's why we offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you're not happy, we're not happy until it's right. Golden Rule is the trusted standard for plumbing, heating, and cooling in the Salt Lake Valley. Visit goldenrulephc.com.
We obey the rules to live by. Golden Rule. Plumbing, heating, and cooling.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
Check out AMCO's multiple financing options, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow.
AA MCO.
Hi friends, Dan the Laptop Man here from PC Laptops. In celebration of over 32 years of serving humans in Utah with their computer and tech needs, we've slashed our prices. And these are the new 2025 models. Here's the deal. You can get our new 2025 S1 desktop with a blazing Ryzen 5 processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing fast storage on this promotion. We also have our new 2025 SM3 laptop with the Intel i5 processor, 16 gigs, and over a terabyte of storage for $999. You can take one home today for $999. And you also get the peace of mind of our lifetime service warranty. We also have 12 months special financing available, and they start as low as $29 a month. But hurry in because supplies are limited. Because at PC Laptops, we love you. PCLaptops.com. Take home a blazing fast 2025 model desktop or laptop for $999 at PCLaptops.com.
Jeff Kaplan.
When I was a kid, my parents got me a subscription to Newsweek magazine. I would devour every page into the night. And to this day, I sit on my iPad looking for stories for my Minute of News, flesh out our coverage, and I get to share the news with you.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
It's 9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top local story this hour. It's breaking news. Police have confirmed that a crossing guard is dead after being hit by a car in Layton. We have a reporter headed to the scene and will provide more information as soon as that becomes available. Garfield County Commission voted against renaming two roads after President Donald Trump. They were looking at either changing the name of the Burr Trail or Johns Valley Road. Brenda Baird is John Burr's great-granddaughter, and she spoke against renaming the roads.
Pioneers should never be canceled out by any politician.
And those who were pushing for the name change wanted to honor President Trump for his decision in 2017 to reduce the size of Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument. Utah Senator Mike Lee wants to get rid of the Transportation Security Administration, more commonly referred to as TSA. Senator Lee says airlines should be the ones to conduct their own security screenings, and the federal government shouldn't have to be involved. The TSA was first established in November 2001 after the 9/11 terrorist attacks. It operates under the Department of Homeland Security. Lee says the organization's processes are, quote, needlessly slow. Our top story from the national story this hour from ABC News. The Trump administration fired over a dozen career prosecutors involved in the cases against Donald Trump.
These officials received an email from the acting attorney general on Monday telling them, in part, given your significant role in prosecuting the president, I do not believe that the leadership of the department can trust you in implementing the president's agenda faithfully. Those fired include some of the Justice Department's most senior prosecutors. These are individuals who have served in Republican and Democratic administrations.
That's ABC's Jonathan Carl reporting. Your money at this moment, Dow up 69 points to 44,778. Coming up, sunshine is going to be super warm within the next 7 days. KSL weather and traffic coming up next. KSL News Time, 9:32.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
I'm looking at the Mountain Home Services website right now, and it says higher elevation. And the reason they say this, Debbie, is because they've taken two great companies and brought them together.
Yeah.
Master Electrical Service and Mountain Air Conditioning and Heating.
You know, so now that they've joined forces, Mountain Home Services and Master Electrical Service, they can help you with all kinds of things. You know, I'm thinking about those outlets that no longer hold the plug. You know what I mean? Like you put it in and it falls out. They can fix that. They can also give you that new EV charger that you've been putting off. You bought an EV and you need a charger. Give them a call and they can give you a bid. And what's great about their bids is they've come with that upfront pricing guarantee, which means the price they quote you in the beginning of the job before they start it is the price you pay when the job is done.
And one of the things that I'm looking at right now on the website is they have a little deal going on right now, 10% off all electrical services. All you have to do to learn more about Mountain Home Services is go to their website, mountainhomeservices.com.
Or you can give them a call, 801-543-2222. Again, 801-543-2222.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Let's check in with Heather Kelly.
Well, we've got a crash on Main Street in Layton at 1600 North that shut down all northbound lanes. Traffic is being diverted in the area, but we're also seeing slowing southbound, so some of those lanes may be restricted. You may want to avoid Main Street around 1600 North just to avoid all those delays. And then we've got another crash southbound I-15 right before the Center Street exit in Orem. It had been blocking two right lanes of traffic. Now just one right lane and the right shoulder are blocked, but you've got a bit of delay backed up to 800 North. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today will be sunny with highs in the mid-30s. It'll get even warmer later this week with highs in the 50s on Saturday. Right now, it's 21 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. A little colder in Provo, 17 degrees. Ogden is at 24 degrees. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Continuing our special coverage of President Donald Trump's immigration policy and what that looks like, particularly in the states that have been most affected by the arrests that are being made by ICE. We spoke yesterday to the mayor of Yuma, Arizona, a southern border town that has, seen a tremendous drop, according to the mayor, in the number of illegal crossings since President Trump took office. And now we're going to fly over to Phoenix and speak to our colleague at KTAR Radio, which has been covering immigration, of course, for years and years and years, to see what they're seeing in the state of Arizona. Because I've read that the governor of Arizona, who, by the way, is a Democrat, Dave, said the state will not be assisting with federal immigration raids. So we're going to ask what that means.
This is interesting to me because oftentimes you'll hear the phrase sanctuary city be thrown around. And do you actually know what a sanctuary city is? Well, I was reading in this NBC News report that a sanctuary city can prohibit city resources or personnel from being used to aid in federal enforcement of immigration law. So it sounds a little bit like Governor Hobbs is doing this, where they say, okay, if you want to conduct your ICE raids, plan on doing it alone without any of our resources going to help with this project.
Katie Orta is the breaking news editor with KTAR Radio in Phoenix. Good morning, Katie. Or Kate.
Hey. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
I added an IE. My daughter's name's Katie, so it's a habit. So, Kate, it's good to talk to you. So let's start there with what Governor Hobbs is saying. What does that look like? And it certainly doesn't mean that these arrests and these so-called roundups cannot happen, right? The federal government can still do these.
Absolutely, yeah. The federal government can absolutely still do whatever they want to do in this case. But Katie Hobbs has said that she and the state resources are not behind them in this moment. She's explicitly said that, they're not going to go into communities and, quote, round up people that aren't causing harm. We've had a lot of fear about that from our community, especially with, changes to where ICE can go and the kinds of places that they can make arrests.
How did Governor Hobbs handle, or what's her stance or rhetoric, I guess, when it comes to immigration, and what her stance is as governor?
Yeah, so she has been very outspoken about asking for more support. That was something that she has never fought on necessarily, or fought against rather. And part of the frustration that we've been hearing from her is that a lot of the Trump administration has been saying, hey guys, we are giving you a bunch of support, help is coming to support people on the southern border. But she told us last week they haven't heard anything from the Trump administration. There has been no communication. But she is asking for help, and other legislators in our community are asking for help. But nothing's coming.
Well, that's curious, because when we spoke to the mayor of Yuma yesterday, Douglas Nichols, Kate, he said, and this is a short clip of our 20-minute long interview with him. He said he felt like the Trump administration the federal government is taking responsibility for what's been going on at the border. Let me play that. Let me play that short clip.
The federal government is now actually taking responsibility for federal issues and not pushing it off on the local government.
So is the governor? Is it because the governor is a Democrat and the administration back in D.C. is Republican administration that maybe there's just not a meeting of the minds here?
No, I think you said it. The lack of communication that's happening here from Governor Hobbs' perspective, I do think what's not helping her case is her previous statement saying that she will fight against the Trump administration if they're doing the things that are wrong for Arizona specifically. So I don't think that there's any love between the two necessarily, and I don't think that that's helping grease the wheels in this case.
It seems like the Republican legislature, according to some of my research, is actually trying to either pass a law that requires the state to work with federal agencies. Does that have any legs?
Our state legislature is led majority by Republicans. So I think that they can definitely pass this legislation, which would require law enforcement, so sheriff's departments, Arizona Department of Corrections, to enter into those agreements with the federal government, to have to work with these federal agents to identify anyone who's not a citizen, and who would also have to detain those citizens if they have been arrested for other crimes. So ICE or other federal agents can come by and take them to wherever ICE is going to take them. I definitely think that can pass our state legislation, but I also think it's going to get blocked by Hobbs' veto.
You've got she's a Democrat. Yeah, so that makes sense. Kate Orta is a breaking news editor with KTAR Radio in Phoenix, Arizona, where we've had continuing coverage all week regarding President Trump's immigration policy and what it looks like for states that are most impacted, at least right now, by these ICE arrests. I want to play another clip, Kate, of what the mayor of Yuma told us yesterday, that he didn't seem concerned about farming and the employees in the community of Yuma showing up for work because
they're only interested in legal labor because they have to have assured labor sources to bring produce in. Produce has a very, very short window at which it can be harvested. And so they are only interested in legal labor, whether that's H-2A foreign labor or domestic labor. They do not depend upon the illegal workforce like it might happen in other parts of the country where maybe things are less time sensitive. But here in Yuma, we don't experience that as has been reported here in a lot of the national news.
So Yuma, of course, well known for lettuce crops and providing a significant amount of lettuce to the nation and beyond during certainly the winter months. But he didn't seem that worried that these ICE arrests would impact farming, because he alluded that, and he said that, you know, the workers on the farms there are working legally. What are you seeing, though, from where you sit there, and as you all have been reporting, regarding, you know, people who may be here illegal, or maybe in the country illegally or legally, who are of immigrant status? Are they not showing up to work because they're just simply afraid by what they're seeing on television and hearing in the news?
I think that's a huge concern. Mexico is our number one economy partner, right? So there are absolutely people who cross the border to come in and work in various locations throughout the state and then go home. I do think that there's fear. I mean, we've heard it in both directions too, right? We spoke to some folks at Rocky Point, you know, whether that's a lot of tourists who spend a lot of time out there. All of their resorts are like way down as far as people visiting. There's been a bunch of cancellations. I think there's a lot of fear around the border right now from what we've heard, and people just aren't willing to take the risk.
And the Rocky Point would be people going down to Rocky Point, Mexico from Arizona and beyond to vacation, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's interesting. That's an interesting wrinkle in all of this that we haven't talked about. Is that it sounds like there's some concern about Americans crossing the border into Mexico too.
Well, there are concerns that the border will be closed, because we heard a lot of threats of that coming up to the campaign. You know, as well, it might happen while President Trump was on the campaign trail. And so whether or not that's true, I mean, that would be a pretty drastic action. The fear is still there. And so that is causing people to pause when they might have upcoming spring break plans, or, you know, trying to enjoy the gorgeous weather and escape. We finally got some snow here, so finally escape some of that snowy weather and go south and cross the border. People are just choosing to stay home.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. Kate Orta is the breaking news editor at one of our sister stations, KTAR in Phoenix.
Straight ahead, let's go back to Utah's Capitol Hill. Open all weekend?
Why are we making carve-outs for car dealerships, but not other industries? I don't think that the government needs to be telling private businesses or private industry how to do things.
That's a Utah lawmaker, and she's now saying she's abandoning a proposal that would allow car dealerships to stay open on both Saturday and Sunday. That discussion straight ahead.
Did you know the Social Security Trust Fund is projected to run out of money in less than 10 years? Yes, 10 years. And according to Barron's, this could cost the average couple $16,500 every year in lost income. Now multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could easily add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why it's critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security. Learn more in a free report, your guide to filing for Social Security in 2025 and beyond. It's from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, get your free report now by calling 801-251-1046. 801-251-1046. That number again, 801-251-1046.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
Enroll in Farm Bureau Financial Services Driveology, and you'll instantly save 10% on your auto insurance premium. Over time, your safe driving habits could earn you even bigger savings, up to 50%. Learn more and start saving with Driveology at fbfs.com/save. 10% savings applied at enrollment for select coverages. Future savings based on individual driving behaviors and varies by coverages selected. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
Salt Lake Community College doesn't just support students, we support the economy.
At Intermountain Health, we've had a partnership with Salt Lake Community College for over 22 years. The Salt Lake Community College graduates bring to us a sense of joy and excitement about the future, which infuses into our culture. My name is Amy Christensen. I'm the chief nurse at Intermountain Health for Utah and Idaho, and I oversee all the nursing services.
SLCC is invested in creating a strong workforce for a strong Utah. See our impact at slcc.edu/community.
Dave, and Dujanovic.
Is Adam Small standing by for breaking news right now? Okay, we're going to get Adam Small on breaking news. We got word just a few minutes ago. You heard Andy Farnsworth reporting this, that it appears that a crossing guard has been hit and killed in the city of Layton this morning. And we're just waiting on Adam to give us a phone call to figure out what the details are there. So sad.
I think many times we forget how dangerous that job is potentially. As a crossing guard, you are literally putting yourself in the crosshairs, so to speak, moving kids across every single day. And it's kind of an unsung job right now. I mean, I remember looking at crossing guards, they're getting paid $15 per shift or $20 per shift. So they come in and work for an hour to help kids get across. So it really is heartbreaking to hear this.
Let's get more information right now on our developing story out of the city of Layton. Adam Small, you're at the scene right now?
Yeah, I'm up here right now, Debbie. Still very active. A lot of police and emergency crews up here investigating. I just hopped on, so I don't know how much you guys have shared yet, but we do know that an older male crossing guard has died after being hit by a vehicle up here. Northbound Main Street is actually completely closed off for this investigation for the time being. So if you're coming through 1600 North here near Bayview Elementary School, then you're going to have to find another way around because they've got the whole northbound side of the road blocked off. Still a very active, ongoing scene up here right now.
Adam, any news whether or not they found the person that hit the crossing guard?
Yeah, so police just told me that it was a woman driving. They didn't give us a description of what kind of vehicle it was, but she was driving northbound coming through this intersection. We don't know what color the light was yet because there's also a traffic light up here. But police did confirm that she stayed. She is very understandably upset, distraught, and has stayed and is cooperating with their investigation.
And was this did this happen as a school was just getting into session this morning?
So it happened around 8:30. I don't know what time classes start up here, but we do know that there were kids in the area. Police said there were actually some kids who unfortunately witnessed this. They are now at school. Police are trying to set up some resources. Obviously, this is a very traumatic thing for them to witness. But we do know there were kids in the area. We are told that they were not in the crosswalk. We understand right now it was just the crossing guard in the crosswalk when he was hit.
Adam, was this crosswalk at a traffic light?
Yeah, so this is it's not a four-way intersection. It's kind of like a T intersection. So you've got 1600 North here in Layton on Main Street. You can't turn right. You can only go straight or turn left. We're told that, again, the woman who was driving that vehicle that hit the crossing guard, she was trying to go straight through the intersection. Again, I don't know what color the light was. They haven't been able to figure that out yet. But she was trying to go straight through and hit the crossing guard. The only other way is to turn left here or turn right if you're going southbound, but she was going north. So, again, trying to go straight through, there was no right turn.
We'll let you continue to gather details. And as you learn more, please, feel free to just, of course, as always, Adam, check back in with us at any time. Such a sad situation out there in Layton this morning. Adam Small, a reporter who's been on the scene this morning of a very tragic situation where a crossing guard was hit and killed this morning. Sounds like it happened at about 8:30 in the morning, and that perhaps some students had witnessed this happen. And having covered a similar story many, many years ago in Salt Lake County, where a beloved crossing guard, an older crossing guard, I think he was in his 80s, was hit and killed. These kids are very emotionally, of course, understandably impacted by this. So they're going to need a lot of love and a lot of hugs and counseling, and of course, counselors on hand there this morning at the school.
Oh, the job of the crossing guard is really crucial and unsung because it's not a high-paying job, right? So a lot of people that participate in this are, grandmas and grandpas that may just come in for an hour or two, but a crossing guard will typically just show up maybe 15 minutes before school, and they stay 5 or 10 minutes after the school bell starts. But it's this little gig work where you go twice a day. It's $15, $20 to show up and do this. So it's crucial. It keeps our kids safe, and it's heartbreaking to hear that one of these crossing guards passed away.
Eye on the Hill 2025 special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave and I caught a story on KSL 5 television that we've just a few minutes to talk about this morning, but it has to do with car dealerships. And I've always known, at least for the last 25 years or so, Dave, that they're generally closed on Sunday, but I wasn't really clear on why.
I just assumed it was a business decision, that they thought, you know what, we're not selling a lot of cars on Sunday for whatever reason, so we're just going to close down. But no, there is a very specific law I had no idea existed that actually prevents car dealerships from being open both Saturday and Sunday.
Let's get more from KSL 5 Television's Daniel Woodruff, who covers the Hill.
It's a law you may not even know exists. Car dealerships in Utah can't be open on consecutive weekend days. In this state, that means they're usually closed on Sunday.
And why are we making carve-outs for car dealerships, but not other industries?
Senator Stephanie Pitcher finds the law a little weird.
I don't think that the government needs to be telling private businesses or private industry how to do things.
She sponsored Senate Bill 136 that would let car dealerships stay open all weekend if they want. But amid a buzzsaw of opposition, Pitcher is now backing down and won't pursue the bill this year.
I think we're going to let it go this session.
This law was originally passed by the legislature in 2000, strongly supported by none other than the late businessman and car dealer himself, Larry H. Miller.
He was an advocate for a 6-day cycle.
Craig Bickmore with New Car Dealers of Utah says requiring dealerships to stay closed one weekend day is healthy.
This is just something that's good for the employees, good for their families.
If the law changes, he says, dealers would feel pressure to stay open. Senate Majority Whip Chris Wilson agrees.
It'll force new car dealers to be open on Sunday.
He's a car dealer himself, the owner of Wilson Motor Company in Logan.
We can't really hire more employees. Really how it works is you're going to have them work more hours.
Wilson is not a fan of Pitcher's proposal.
I think it's a horrible bill.
In the end, it won't move forward this session, but Pitcher says the issue remains.
You open when you want to open. If you want to close, you close. But you don't need us to tell you to do that.
Daniel Woodruff, KSL 5 News.
Very strange to me. I had no idea this law existed. I didn't know that they were required, car dealerships specifically, to choose either Sunday or Saturday which day they are open. I'm still scratching my head trying to figure out why in the world the legislature would chime in on this. Do they do this for donut shops? Can donut shops only be open on Sunday? Like, we're not having Saturday donuts, we're having Sunday donuts. I'm trying to wrap my head around this, Deb, and I can't do it. I don't know why. It's just car dealerships, because all the excuses and the reasoning behind why they can't have 2 days back-to-back on the weekend to be open, doesn't every other business in Utah have that same struggle? What's different about this?
I'm still hooked up on donut shops.
No, you can only have Sunday donuts, not Saturday donuts.
Straight ahead, a special half hour on infidelity in relationships. Ooh, we're talking specifically financial infidelity. We're going to learn at what point your lover is being untrue to you when it comes to money, when we speak to a money expert in the 10 o'clock hour.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
Discover the timeless value at Duke's Jewelers, a local treasure since 1948. Whether you're searching for a unique engagement ring or need expert watch repair, Duke's has been serving the community for over 75 years. From January 23rd to 25th, don't miss the largest event of the year, a 50% off closeout sale on select jewelry. It's the perfect time to visit and explore the wide selection of custom designs and quality gemstones. The skilled designers at Duke's can bring your dream piece to life, while experienced jewelers handle repairs and modifications in-house. Duke's Jewelers takes pride in value pricing, ensuring you receive the best prices every day. Need an appraisal? The Duke's Jewelers AGS certified gemologist is here to help. Whether it's hand or machine engraving or redesigning old favorites into something new, get personalized service for every occasion. Visit Duke's Jewelers and experience the difference of locally operated expertise and dedication. Duke's Jewelers in Springfield, Utah.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Things are just better with a partner or a friend. And when it comes to losing weight, Soda Weight Loss makes it easier than ever to let go of the weight for good.
I'd been wanting to lose weight, and I tried on my own. I'd been seeing things for soda, and so we talked to the nutritionist and loved every bit of it. You know, I couldn't be happier, honestly, with the result.
Join with a partner and only pay for one. Imagine achieving all your weight loss goals together with your partner, and you only pay for one.
I've let go 50 pounds, and I don't have the cravings that I used to have.
I would definitely recommend soda. It's because it works. I even recommended it to my daughter, and she's on her journey now.
Just go and look at the almost 9,000 Google reviews about soda weight loss. Lose the weight without injections, without medications, without hunger. Get started now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour. We have a reporter on the scene in Layton right now where a crossing guard was hit and killed this morning near 1600 North and Main Street. Witnesses say emergency responders were doing CPR, but were unable to revive the crossing guard. We've just learned the crossing guard was 67 years old and was in a crosswalk when hit. The driver remained on the scene. We will have updates throughout the morning and a full report coming up on Utah's Noon News. A Utah lawmaker wants kids featured in their parents' social media content to have more power over what stays online and have money set aside for them. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
Representative Doug Owen's bill would do two things if it passes. One, it would require parents who make money off their social media content featuring their kids to set aside a portion of their earnings into a trust the kids can access when they're adults. And two, it would give the kids power to ask for certain content that they're in to be deleted from social media when they turn 18. Owens told the Deseret News, quote, "If they find something embarrassing, I think you should have the right to take it down." The bill is awaiting its first hearing and potential vote on Capitol Hill. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Well, BYU men's basketball puts their 2-game win streak on the line tonight with Baylor visiting the Marriott Center. Game tips at 7 o'clock with pregame coverage here on KSL News Radio starting at 6. Your money at this moment, the Dow's up 94 points to 44,807. Coming up, hazy then warm, and we've got emergency traffic on Bangalore Highway. Traffic and weather together coming up next. KSL News Time, 10:01.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
This is Derek Overstreet of the New Millennium Group and host of Stop Working and Start Living Radio. If you're close to or in retirement and you don't have a tax plan, call us right now, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. Listen, our country's been spending like never before, and the tax bill is coming soon. If you need an income tax strategy and a financial plan that will get you through the rest of your life, give my team a call, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. If you want an investment plan that allows you to keep more of your gains and pay less taxes, give us a call, 888-999-6370. My team specializes in the type of plan that will get you retired 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible. So, get a no-cost tax analysis by calling 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. My team is standing by now.
Do you currently use a CPAP machine to treat sleep apnea? Are you looking for a smaller, more comfortable solution? Consider a custom-fitted oral appliance from Sound Sleep Medical. In many cases, these appliances can be as effective as CPAP, and oral appliances are usually covered by insurance or Medicare. To make an appointment or to learn more, call Sound Sleep Medical at 801-285-9731. That's 801-285-9731, or visit soundsleepmedical.com.
The Western Hunting and Conservation Expo is coming to Salt Lake City February 13th to 16th. It's the biggest hunting show in the West, featuring Utah's top 200 hunting permits for just $5 each application. Visit with hundreds of exhibitors and see Rodney Atkins perform live. Get discount admission at Sportsman's Warehouse, Les Schwab Tires, Bass Pro Cabela's, and Utah's Toyota dealers. And best of all, you can apply to hunt Utah's biggest bucks and bulls for just $5 each. The Hunting Expo is brought to you by the Utah Office of Tourism. Get tickets and details at huntexpo.com.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Utah State Fair Park. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Utah State Fair Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Utah State Fair Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Utah State Fair Park. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Utah State Fair Park. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Utah State Fair Park. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
It's emergency traffic brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Here's Heather Kelly.
Well, Bangalore Highway is closed northbound at 114 South. All traffic forced to exit at 114 South in South Jordan. It's due to a rollover crash just a little further up the road on Bangalore. And right now, traffic is backed up almost to 126 South. So don't even get on to Bangalore right now if you're in the Riverton, South Jordan area. The best place you can get on to avoid all those delays is 104th South in South Jordan and continue on. We also still have the closure in Layton of Main Street at 1600 North. That's due to that fatal autoped. So that's going to be an area to avoid as well. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, we're going to have to deal with haze for the next 4 days, and temperatures will hover in the upper 30s and lower 40s. But Saturday, a storm system moves in, and it brings warm air with it. By Monday, we'll be near 60 degrees. Right now, it's sunny and 25 degrees. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio. Right on the money. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
Bankrate puts out surveys, and this survey really caught our attention. It's juicy. Could also be problematic in relationships. 20% of Americans who are surveyed say they, in a relationship, have kept a financial secret from their partner. In a moment, we're going to have a money expert on the line to help us define what is financial infidelity. Let's start with you, Dave.
I'm crawling out of my skin right now. Let's not have this conversation. It's a terrible conversation.
Give us your description of what financial infidelity looks like in either your relationship or a relationship. I've got my own take on this. We're going to take live calls, 801-575, talk, have our listeners tell us what financial infidelity has looked like in their life. What does it look like in your life?
Okay, so it just runs in my head from friends. Once a cheater, always a cheater. So have I been financially, have I cheated on my wife financially? Okay, yeah, maybe a little bit. I would like an official ruling from somebody that is not me, but I think I may have cheated on my wife a little bit.
Secret credit card?
Okay, so this is how it went down. Okay. And you know what? Can I bring you into this a little bit? Can I blame you just a little bit? Like a partner in crime type thing?
Sure.
When we were doing the $1,000 challenge
Years ago?
Years ago.
Okay.
I didn't have $1,000. I was like many Americans, many Utahns that don't have just $1,000 in an emergency savings fund. And I thought, you know what? This is I'm going to take my own medicine. I'm going to save $1,000 for an emergency, and I'm going to do this all on my own because part of the discussion was you got to do something different. Do a little side hustle, cut out coffee, soda, whatever it might be. So what I did is I made the conscious decision to start donating plasma. So it's something I'd done back in college, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to start donating plasma, and that money is going to go exclusively to the $1,000 savings.
You said donate, but then you said money. So work through that with me for just like 10 seconds. What does that look like? You get needles in your arm or something like that, and then they pay you?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. They stick a needle in your arm, they extract blood, they spin out the plasma, they keep the plasma, give you your blood back, and anyway, you can make, maybe $100 or so a week. So I figured, in a couple months, I will have saved up $1,000, which is exactly what happened. I saved up $1,000, and then I put it into an Acorns account, which is like a little investment
It's an app on your phone.
So that's what I did. I just started saving, and I save up $1,000. And
First of all, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly, so I don't know what you're blaming me for. That's awesome.
Okay, here's the not awesome part.
Okay.
Never told my wife about it. Didn't tell her that I was, she knew I was donating plasma. I didn't tell her that I had the Acorns account, that I was squirreling the money away, and I didn't tell her about it.
Yikes.
And then I kept putting more money into it,
Okay.
and more money. And then I saved up several $1,000s.
That's awesome.
Again, not telling my wife knows I had the account. She knows I was donating plasma. She didn't know where the money went. And she didn't ask. She's like,
but you also
that's
didn't tell, and that's where you feel guilty.
That's where I feel guilty. Mm-hmm. And again, if she's like, Dave, I need $1,000, yeah, I'd give it to her, like, no question. And I'm not trying to hide it, but I am kind of trying to hide it a little bit. So is that financial infidelity?
So I'm gonna play therapist here.
Okay.
I'm not a therapist. But I think the question that you have to ask yourself after spilling the beans on that story is, what was your motive for not telling her?
Which is a little bit crazy because she runs all the finances in our family. Like, she does a great job. She's the responsible one. I'm the irresponsible one. So I don't know why I'm all of a sudden pretending like, you know what? I can't trust you because I'm clearly the problem.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense to me either.
Well, maybe it's a number. Maybe there's an amount that once you cross like $1,000 and you get to $1,500 or $2,000 and $3,000, that you are practicing the art of financial infidelity by not saying, "Hey, now look at us. We have $3,000 or $4,000. Would we like to do something else besides let this sit in this app and marinate and make a few?" Maybe making a little interest, but would we like to take it and do something else with it? Would we like to open up an IRA with it? Or would we like to pay off a bill with it?
Yeah.
Or
That's what I was afraid of. I didn't want to have that conversation. I'm like, this is the emergency fund. I don't want it to get, I was a little bit afraid that it would get gobbled up by other debts because we had other debts that we easily could have moved that money over into. But I was hoarding it like a dragon hoards gold because I didn't want it to be touched unless it was truly an emergency.
801-575-TALK. Dave just spilled the tea on his financial infidelity. I think it's a baby financial infidelity. I don't think it's a full-on, like it's not a secret offshore account where you're moving funds around and evading taxes. But I think there's a little bit there, and I think there's some guilt on your part. But what's happened in your relationship where you've experienced financial infidelity? We're going to take live calls in just a moment. 801-575-TALK. Let's bring in money expert Ted Rossman of Bankrate. He's a senior industry analyst. Did you hear Dave's story?
I did, yes. Hi, thanks for having me.
So you be the other juror on this panel. Do you think that's financial infidelity?
Well, it's probably in the eye of the beholder. I mean, sometimes people say, secret savings is not that bad, right? We have more money than we thought. Isn't that a good thing? The reason why this might rub the other person the wrong way is just because it's hard enough to meet your financial goals when you're pulling in the same direction, right? And it's that much harder if there's secrets going on behind the scenes. It depends on one's financial situation. If you're paying 20 or 25 or 30% on a credit card, maybe that secret savings could have gone to that, or maybe it could have gone to a vacation or home improvements, or, it's kind of a gray area. But one of the reasons I believe we need to be transparent with our partners about money is sometimes the secret takes on a life of its own, and sometimes that actually ends up being even more harmful than the financial act itself.
That is such a great way to describe it, Ted, because even though I felt kind of at my core I could justify it, my wife wouldn't have cared. I would have said, "Hey, honey, I don't want to touch this. This is like, you can't touch this unless there's genuinely an emergency." She would have totally understood that, but for some reason, I felt like, I got to keep this to myself. I don't want anyone touching my money.
Yeah, that's true. And that's actually one of the reasons why yours, mine, and ours can be a good way to manage money with a spouse or partner. 6 in 10 couples are actually doing this, and it's highest among Gen Z at 90%. What we're talking about here is mixing a lot of your money because you have a lot of joint expenses, but also agreeing that you can each have some that's yours and yours alone. Maybe that's for hobbies. Maybe it's buying electronics or shoes or nights out with friends or whatever it is. Maybe it's a gift fund. That's something people kind of bristle at sometimes, where they say, we combine everything and I can't surprise my spouse. Well, yours, mine, and ours can work as long as you agree upon what's going into that fund. Maybe it's a certain dollar amount or a certain percentage of every paycheck. That can be a way to give people independence while still working together.
Ted Rossman is with Bankrate. He's a senior industry analyst. He's live on the line with us as we talk about financial infidelity in relationships. I think the obvious financial infidelity would be something like I joked about earlier, like an offshore account, a secret credit card that's been opened up, and your spouse or your lover's running up that credit card behind your back, and it's causing you financial problems you didn't know you're going to have. But what are some of the less obvious signs of financial infidelity that we don't often categorize as financial infidelity?
Secret spending is the biggest example, and sometimes it starts small, sometimes it's bigger stuff. Sometimes people even go to great lengths to hide purchases. They get it delivered to the office or a neighbor's house, or they stash it in the closet for a while. Technology is enabling some of this, whether it's e-commerce or also other forms of financial infidelity. I'm thinking of maybe a credit card that you opened online or through an app, and you don't get paper statements anymore, so that's maybe a way to hide it. There are a lot of things that people are doing kind of behind the scenes with their money that aren't as transparent as they could be. And another reason why it's on the rise is people are getting married later, and they have their own incomes, and they're kind of set in their ways, and it's harder to mesh that with someone else. 2/3 of Gen Zers and about half of millennials who are married or otherwise living with a romantic partner are keeping financial secrets. That compares with only about 1 in 3 boomers and Gen Xers.
Wow, 2 out of 3. That is very interesting. How do you move past? How do you repair some of the financial infidelity?
Communication is really the key. Just talking it out. Even if you're not proud of something in your financial past, it's better to come clean sooner rather than later. Sometimes you hear about big purchases like home purchases being derailed because it came up that somebody has secret debt or a secret damage to their credit score or something like that. People are usually forgiving, but it's better to know sooner rather than later. The other thing is that trust is a key factor. And if you find out about a financial secret that's been going on for a while, you might think, well, gosh, I thought I really knew this person, and what else am I missing? And it's just an uncomfortable path. It's usually better to get it out there sooner rather than later.
Ted Rossman with Bankrate, always appreciate your insights. What a fascinating report that 2 in 5 Americans in a relationship have told Bankrate in one of their recent surveys that they've kept a financial secret from their partner. And Dave, you kind of did that. You just told us what that financial secret was. It was probably on the more positive side of financial secrets. You had more money stashed away in that savings app than you told your wife about. Your goal was to get to $1,000, and as you donated plasma, you amassed more and more of an emergency fund. Didn't tell her how much. I'm curious as to how much that was. But I want to take live calls. 801-575-TALK. 801-575-TALK. What financial infidelity, what secret has your spouse, your lover, kept from you, or what have you kept from them?
I think my biggest regret is that it sends a message that maybe I didn't trust her. And that is so strange because I trust her implicitly. I don't know why I all of a sudden felt so protective over this money. And I think in part because I've seen and I know how easy it is when you're saving up cash to redirect it for very good reasons, right? I mean, we redirect it for higher debt, credit cards, children's, football games or piano lessons. There's always good reasons. But the thing is we had not had this $1,000 emergency fund for so many years. I think it started off in how I justified it in my mind was, well, this is a good thing. This is a good thing, and I just want to see it's a challenge for myself. But yeah, then why the secrecy? Why not sharing that?
Yeah, I think that's what the question that I thought was most important to ask yourself is what is the why behind not telling her? And I think we can justify that, right? I mean, we can say, oh, well, because I was afraid that we were going to spend the money. We're going to eat through that several $1,000s that I had amassed donating plasma, which sounds like heroic, right? Some of us take on a part-time job to amass an emergency fund, or we cut out lattes.
Mine was blood money.
Yours is literally blood money, which is heroic. But I think when the answer to that is, I was afraid that together we would run out and spend that money, or we would use that money for something that wasn't considered an emergency, then that should spark a conversation between both of you.
That's interesting because you're right. There probably is some truth to that where it's, I trust her and I trust me but I don't trust us. Like we can get caught up and excited and like, hey, yeah, but wouldn't this be amazing if we went down to Cancun? Yes. Like
nobody in that discussion is going to veto that.
Yeah, no one's vetoing that.
It's a really bad idea because you've spent so much time collecting all that money. 57500 is our text line, and I want to read this text to you because I think this is key. When you talk about financial infidelity, particularly when it comes to saving or hoarding money that you're not telling your loved one about. This person says, another potential problem in Dave's scenario, what happens if he dies unexpectedly, which is, of course, not going to happen.
Right.
But we're going worst case scenario. But we do this with our other finances, right?
Yeah.
We set up a plan that if something unexpectedly happens to us, the person we're married to knows, or whoever the executor of the estate is, knows exactly where to go to find the money. And they say, what if you die and his wife doesn't know that the account exists? That's what happened with me and my wife. Not that somebody died, but we realized that there were things the other person was unaware of or didn't know passwords to, etc. That money likely would have, if that would have happened, would have just baked in that app.
Oh, can you imagine? that lost cash. No, she knew I had the account. She just didn't know how much I had in there. And I think it surprised her when she finally found out how much money I had in there. She's like, oh, well, that's a surprise.
And were you able to keep that money in there?
Yeah, and we haven't touched it.
That's awesome, Dave.
It's been totally fine.
And then money expert Ted Rossman joining the show just moments ago, reminding us that this to this point, this texter's point, you need to stay transparent.
One of the reasons I believe we need to be transparent with our partners about money is sometimes the secret takes on a life of its own, and sometimes that actually ends up being even more harmful than the financial act itself.
And I can just tell you, speaking from experience and talking to people over the years who have, run into money issues, just as a news reporter, that when you keep a secret, it eventually always comes, and it comes out at the worst time. So it comes out when you're signing documents to buy a new home, right? And the mortgage lender is sitting there asking you why, you've got all of these accounts that and then your spouse doesn't know anything about them. Or you haven't bothered to pay your debt down for decades, and you're so far behind on your bills, but you haven't told your loved one that. And so then it comes out when you go to, open up some sort of an account or buy a car. It always seems to eventually come out. And it comes out in the worst moments when there's a third party involved and you're just stuck not being able to do anything about it. Like if you're buying a home and you've put down a down payment, sometimes those down payments are not refundable. If somebody's held their home for you to buy and then you get down the road and now you've lost their trust and you've lost your $20,000 earnest money or whatever it is. So I think there is a very, very valid argument to be made for transparency every step of the way. And just because saving is like a good surprise, like, right? Oh, that's a good one. I'm glad you've saved. Yeah. I think it also can hold you back from doing other things with that money that may be better for both of you.
Yeah, and I totally agree. It's one of those things, though, when we start looking, and I was a little surprised when Ted Rossman said that 2/3 of millennials have secrets. That's the majority of folks. And trying to navigate that, and we all have our own justifications and reasonings behind it, but it is one of the dangers, I think, of having a yours, mine, and ours money, right? When there isn't that transparency, and I loved how he said it. It's hard enough to pull in the same direction, and if everyone's kind of got their own little thing going on, that's a recipe for disaster.
Straight ahead, should it stay or should it go? Daylight saving time in Utah. Jay Evenson of the Deseret News, he's the opinion editor, is going to dive back into the conversation about this back and forth debate on Utah's Capitol Hill. He's next.
The newest part of your morning, and still so familiar.
When you wake up and listen to a radio show, it's like you're a part of a family. You're listening in on people you know, and it's magnificent that Andy Farnsworth is sitting in the chair because he's someone we know.
Utah's Morning News. Andy Farnsworth joins Amanda Dixon to bring you important news in the car. 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
It's a new year, and if you're considering about maybe a new you, losing a little weight, let me tell you about Salt Lake City Fat Loss. It's a program I joined about a year ago, and I was nervous. I was so nervous about joining this program because, you build up in your head the worst-case scenario. I'm going to be starving. I'm going to be miserable. I'm going to be cranky. It's going to be so difficult. And although I won't say the Salt Lake City Fat Loss program is easy, it is worth it. And I loved the results that I saw on the program. I lost 57 pounds in 60 days, and it was incredible to watch. Every time I got on that scale, that number going down, and it kept me motivated. So if you're interested in starting a little something this year, you're going to get an extra $200 off the program right now if you join Salt Lake City Fat Loss. So go ahead and reach out to them. Schedule a free consultation with Salt Lake City Fat Loss by going to the website slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
Emergency traffic brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Bangalore Highway is at a crawl right now northbound between 120th and 114th South, where all traffic must exit at 114th South and South Jordan due to a rollover crash blocking all lanes. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you've ever set New Year's resolutions before, you know how difficult it is to follow through because you have to wait to see the results. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and in honor of your New Year, New You resolutions, Any Hour Services is having our New Year, New System sale. From now until the end of February, Any Hour Services will give you $2,025 off a new furnace and air conditioner. And you don't have to wait to save the money. You get $2,025 off at the time of purchase. The only thing you have to do to qualify for our New Year, New System sale is call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate. When you call, there's no obligation to buy. Just schedule a time to meet that works best for you. Let me say that again. From now until the end of February, when you have Any Hour Services install a new furnace and air conditioner, we'll give you $2,025 off. Call Any Hour Services right now and schedule a free estimate. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Salt Lake Community College doesn't just support students. We support the economy.
Ken Garp has recently partnered with SLCC, which provides an affordable automotive program, which gives an easy pathway to come work for Ken Garp. The more a technician is trained, the higher producing they become, and it's better for our overall business. My name is Sebastian, and I'm responsible for Ken Garp's technician recruitment efforts.
SLCC is invested in creating a strong workforce for a strong Utah. See our impact at slcc.edu/community.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Utah State Fair Park. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Utah State Fair Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Utah State Fair Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Utah State Fair Park. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Utah State Fair Park. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Utah State Fair Park. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Healthcare with human kindness is here. It's at Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Together, we have a common purpose, partnering with you in health and healing using powerful medicine, powerful technology, and the greatest power of all, human kindness. You'll know it when you see it, because human kindness is in every care site and in every caregiver. Common Spirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
KSL News Time is 10:30. I'm Andy Farnsworth, KSL's top local story this hour. A 67-year-old school crossing guard is dead after police say he was hit by a vehicle at 1600 North Main Street in Layton this morning. Layton Police Lieutenant Travis Lyman says the man was in the crosswalk when he was hit by a vehicle trying to drive north through the intersection.
It appears at this point that the crossing guard was doing things the way he'd been trained and was supposed to be working, and it's just an unfortunate accident and tragedy.
Lyman says no kids were hurt, but some did witness the accident. Police say the woman driving the vehicle stayed on scene and is cooperating. The ice is thin and inherently dangerous on many of Utah's lakes and reservoirs right now. That's according to Ty Hunter with the Utah Division of Outdoor Recreation.
They get next to the ice. They decide they're going to test it by throwing a rock out on it, see if that rock falls through. That rock does not weigh, does not apply the type of pressure that your body would in the given, space that it takes up as you're walking out on that ice. And so they try to walk out on the ice, and then they fall through.
Hunter tells Utah's Morning News the tragedy that happened in Ogden last night where 2 teenagers fell through the ice isn't the only case of people falling through the ice in Utah this winter. He does credit 2 other teenagers who pulled one of the kids out with acting quickly and doing the right thing by laying down and using a fishing pole to reach out to the second victim. The second teenager who wasn't initially pulled from the water later died at the hospital. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Federal funding for a host of government agencies is up in the air right now after President Trump put a pause on federal grants and loans. The federal government agencies impacted by the president's orders have until this evening to show they are complying. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up, and it is up 120 points. That's 0.25%. Coming up, we've got emergency traffic in South Jordan on northbound Bangerter Highway. It's rough over there. Traffic and weather together coming up next. KSL News Time 10:32.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
If you love designer brands and you love clearance, then you're going to love this. Macy's is having a huge designer clearance event right now with incredible new designer markdowns on cold weather styles from BCBG, Hugo Boss, Michael Kors, and more. How big are the markdowns? How about Coach boots for $200 or less? So if you're looking for the things you love all in one place, come in and shop the designer clearance event at Macy's today. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
Join Mike Stevens of Capital Wealth Advisors for Retire Right Radio, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. That's Retire Right Radio with Mike Stevens, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Let's go with that sounder instead, because emergency traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Let's check in with Heather Kelly.
Well, this is on Bangerter Highway northbound. All traffic forced to exit at 114 South in South Jordan. It's due to a rollover crash just a little further north of that exit. All lanes are shut down. Traffic is backed up to 124th South in Riverton. So you just want to avoid Bangerter at all costs right now, heading north from Riverton through South Jordan. You can get back on at 104th South and avoid all of those delays. We still have the closure of Main Street in Layton. This is at 1600 North due to the earlier auto pedestrian crash. And now we have an accident in Ogden. It's on Harrison Boulevard southbound. Right around 30th South, you've got 2 right lanes blocked, only 1 left lane getting through there. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, the KSL Weather Center says we get to deal with building haze through Friday, but then there's a change. A storm system will bring in warmer air with possible rain in the valleys and snow in the mountains. By Monday, we'll be close to hitting 60 degrees. Right now, it's 25 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Eye on the Hill 2025. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
I do not think this is hyperbole when I say this. There there is probably no topic that we've talked about more on the radio than daylight saving time. And here we go again. Because the question the Deseret News is asking in its latest opinion piece by Jay Evenson is the end of time change on the horizon? Utah lawmakers are debating it, and we're going to get the latest from Jay.
Whether you like daylight saving time or you like standard time, everybody hates the switch, the back and forth. Like the falling back, sure, we'll celebrate. Then you got to spring forward and you lose an hour of sleep. This kind of whiplash that we've just become accustomed to universally is despised. I despise it on a level I can barely even articulate because it is so awful. It feels like I get hit over the head with a hammer every time I get messed up on my circadian rhythms.
Can we take a time out real quick? We talked about this last week as well because there were some developments on Capitol Hill. But what are we on right now? I cannot remember for the life of me. Are we on daylight saving time right now, or are we on standard time?
We're on standard time.
Are you sure about that, Jay?
Time. Yes. Well, you can get out a sundial and check if you want. But
no, I'm going to go with what. So we're officially on standard time until some random day in March.
Yeah.
Where thank goodness for Apple, because my clocks will automatically be
all automatic. Listen,
we'll spring forward.
Dave, you've got to be careful saying everybody, because there are people out there who enjoy changing their clocks, and I hear from them every time I write about this. So
walk us through where we're at on Utah's Capitol Hill with this debate right now.
This has been a strange year because I've been writing about this for decades as well, and Republicans have always been in favor of making standard time permanent, because businesses love to be open late at night. They like those late nights in the summer where it's light until 9 o'clock or close to 10 o'clock. So we're getting ready for this session, and Donald Trump tweets that he wants to get rid of daylight saving time and move to permanent standard time. And suddenly the world is turned upside down. Republicans aren't used to that, but now we have a bill at the legislature that would make Utah on standard time permanently. That bill has passed out of the Government Operations Committee unanimously, and it's now waiting to be heard in the House. So that's where that is.
So just a reminder for our listeners, if you're trying to keep score, like, well, what does this mean? When we have daylight saving time, that means in the summer we have those late sunsets.
Right.
So the sun doesn't set until almost 9 o'clock p.m. So by removing that means no more 9 p.m. sunsets. It will be an 8 p.m. sunset.
But in the winter, it won't get dark at 3 p.m. I mean, basically, right? I get in my car to drive, or it still would stay.
Yes, we would be on what we are right now.
I need to leave and go get a snack. You guys take the conversation. I get so confused by this back and forth stuff.
The downside to standard time is you have a very early sunrise during the winter. So you're looking at a 4:54 a.m. sunrise. So before your alarm even goes off, sun starts peeking out. So that's one of the downsides.
In the winter? In the summer.
In the summer.
See what I'm saying? I'm rubbing off on you. I'm sorry, Dave.
But the argument you're going to hear is that it's better for school children in those early mornings in the winter because it's not quite as dark. And, I mean, we're really not arguing about whether we want to change the clocks twice a year. We're arguing about whether it should be standard time or daylight saving time. And the way the law sits right now, it's illegal. Congress has made it illegal for states to choose daylight saving time year-round. But they are free to choose standard time year-round, which is what Arizona does.
Mm-hmm.
And so this bill that's pending the legislature does not rely on anything in Congress in order to make it happen. We can choose to do that right now. We did a poll a couple of years ago, and we found 71% of people in Utah would like to switch to one time permanently. It was 41% who wanted daylight saving time permanently and 30% who wanted standard time. So that's kind of where we are.
One of the struggles I have with this with daylight saving time is it's not evenly divided 6 months and 6 months.
No.
Daylight saving time is 8 months out of the year. So largely we live with daylight saving time. And standard time is the little 4 months out of the year.
Yeah, we kind of have standard or savings time creep. Because it used to be we would change in October and then in April. So it was almost kind of half year for each. But now it's November to March for standard time. So you have doctors out there saying, no, we need standard time year round because that conforms with your circadian rhythms and you're more awake. But we have the transportation people who say, no, we want daylight saving time year round because there are fewer accidents when it's lighter at night. So the arguments just go on and on. The golfers want daylight saving time.
What do the Debbies want? I'm sorry,
Well-
the Debbies want daylight saving time. The Debbies want daylight saving time because I like hiking later in the, not totally once I came off a hike at midnight. That was a whole nother story. That was a mistake. But I like hiking after work, like at 4 p.m., and I love paddleboarding at sunset. And I just I know you can say, oh, you can get out there at 8 o'clock at night. No, there's something special to me about living in Utah when it comes that it stays light later. So I love daylight saving time. I'm really conflicted on this, and obviously I can hardly even keep track of it. But I do know that I like these later sunsets in the summer.
The only problem with your preference, Debbie, is that it requires an act of Congress. And so Marco Rubio had a bill.
Well, they're always passing stuff back there,
Well,
Jay. What do you mean?
What I'm always told by them is that we have more important things to consider. And I'm like,
bet.
really, what? You're not doing much else.
One of the struggles, the biggest downsides to daylight saving time is how late the sunrise is. So it's almost 9 o'clock at its worst before the sun comes up during daylight saving time. So sure, you can go on your 9 p.m. hike and the sun, set, but do we want our kids walking to school, driving to school when the sun is still an hour away from rising? Like, that is straight dark.
I think the strongest arguments I've heard are from the parents of severely autistic children who talk about how routine is so important for them.
Mm-hmm.
And twice a year they have to change their clocks, and it just wreaks havoc on those children. It is difficult. Those are pretty compelling arguments.
Yeah, that's probably the best argument
that
we've heard. 801-575-TALK. Jay, do you want to stick around and take live calls with us?
Absolutely.
We love it when you do. So here's the question. Let me see if I can get this straight. Should daylight saving time stay or go? 801-575-TALK. 801-575-TALK.
Should I stay or should I go?
Should daylight saving time stay
Should I stay or should I go?
or go? Let's take your live calls in 2 minutes.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Utah State Fair Park. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Utah State Fair Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Utah State Fair Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Utah State Fair Park. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Utah State Fair Park. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Utah State Fair Park. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Join KSL on the movie show this Friday from 10 to 1 at the Layton MPS store at 1150 North Main Street in Layton. MPSstore.com.
Did you know the Social Security Trust Fund is projected to run out of money in less than 10 years? Yes, 10 years. And according to Barron's, this could cost the average couple $16,500 every year in lost income. Now multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could easily add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why it's critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security. Learn more in a free report. your guide to filing for Social Security in 2025 and beyond. It's from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, get your free report now by calling 801-251-1046. 801-251-1046. That number again, 801-251-1046.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
Emergency traffic brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. And we still have traffic at a crawl between 124 South and 114 South. It's due to a closure of northbound Bangerter Highway. It's just about to reopen. We've got the sweeper going through, cleaning up a lot of debris from an earlier rollover. And they're letting traffic now go past 114 South, where everybody was forced to exit. You won't have to do that anymore, but traffic isn't going all the way through yet. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Eye on the Hill 2025. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
Should it stay or should it go? Daylight saving time. It's a debate on Utah's Capitol Hill. And Jay Evenson of the Deseret News, he's the opinion editor, has been writing all about it. We're also taking your live calls, 801-575-TALK, asking you to weigh in if you think it should stay or go.
The average American wakes up at 7:30 in the morning. If you guys have your way and you get permanent daylight saving time, you will be up an hour and a half in the dark. That's what happens. You get that late sunrise where it's almost 9 a.m. before the sun rises if you love your daylight saving time. Sorry, we got Jay here. We're going to grab his microphone here. Jay Evenson joins us.
Good to be back.
Yeah.
The system we have tries to take away those extremes, right? So but we don't have it. It's not 6 months and 6 months. We only have standard time for about 3 or 4 months now.
Right.
So you can't really make that argument as much as you could in the past.
Jacob and Tooele, thanks for the phone call. It sounds like this is for the love of kids, the system we have now, right? Or no?
No, standard time is the way to go.
Okay.
It's better for our health. It's better for our kids. I know every time we switch our clocks, it throws off my kids' sleep schedule. And then when their sleep schedule gets thrown off, everybody gets sick. So I feel like everyone's just healthier when you can maintain that sleep pattern. We lived in Arizona for a couple years and stayed on that standard time all the time, and we were way healthier. Our kids were healthier. They slept better year-round. I think standard time is 100% the way to go.
It is one of the hardest things in parenting is trying to get kids to go to bed at 8:30 or 9 when the sun is still up.
Yeah.
It is the worst conversation.
Yeah, and I dealt with that for many years. I was just talking to both of you during the break that when I worked for KSL5 Television doing the morning show, I had to get up about 3:30 in the morning to be out the door and on television. I think we started the show like 5 a.m. And I had 3 kids under the age of 4 when I started at KSL5 TV. And in the summer, trying to convince them that the rest of the world was going to bed when the sun was still bright and up in the middle of the
Mom's
sky
a liar.
at 6 p.m.
No one else.
Jay, I went out and I bought those blackout shades for our house, and I had to start
Smart.
winding everybody down by 5 o'clock at night.
It's hard for parents. And Jacob brings up a really good point, and that is the health issue. And there actually has been research done on this, and not just for children, but older people. There are more heart attacks during the week after we change the clocks. There are more car accidents because people are drowsy. So those are some interesting things to consider.
One of the things that I think is so difficult about this is Arizona, it's just odd. Because they don't recognize daylight saving time, if you are traveling, if you are trying to set up an interview, which we have done, it gets messed up sometimes because you're like, wait, are you on the same time as us? I mean, even though you're directly below us, it does add to some confusion. And then you start tying this into the different time zones, the Pacific, Mountain, Eastern, Central, all the time zones. There's so much confusion with time in general. I think it's incredibly frustrating.
Do we have Mark from Bountiful?
Yeah, sure do.
You want to
Can you
move to? Did you tell our producer you want to move to California?
No. Oh, shoot, no. I moved out of California.
Okay.
What I said was we need to be on Pacific time, just like Arizona is. Get rid of daylight savings time because the health issue isn't about which time you're on, summer or daylight savings. It's the switching. That's all the problems that exist. Let's be just like Arizona. They're directly below us. On Pacific time, on Standard Time, then we're essentially always on daylight savings time for Utah as it is now.
Thanks
And
so much, Mark, for your phone call. Jay, what do you think on that?
Well, I think he's right. It is the changing of the time that causes problems. I wouldn't want to be on Pacific time, though. I think we're a mountain state, and we need to stay in mountain time.
And Arizona's on Standard Time.
Yes.
Is that right? Like, I grew up there. I should know that. But
they are. Listen, I'm as confused.
We're all confused
I grew
now.
up there, too. I have relatives there.
Oh, that's right.
You know, every time I call, it's like the old Chicago song. Does anyone really know what time it is?
I know.
Well, this is one of the struggles, though. If you say you have Standard Time and you're living in, San Francisco, the earliest sunrise is 4:30 a.m. Like, that is so incredible. And if you're waking up, which is normal, 7:30 in the morning, that means the sun will have been risen for 3 hours. It's hard for me when there is sunlight pouring through the window. I start waking up, right? That's what the body naturally does. So it's one of the struggles when you don't have the current system.
It's so interesting to talk about this because there's never, I'm conflicted within my own brain, and then everybody's conflicted on what to do. But maybe, Bill, you have the answer. You think we should turn to Washington, D.C. for the answer, it sounds like.
Well, if Washington, D.C. says we can't go to daylight savings time permanently, we need to wait for that because that, in my opinion, if there was one change that had to happen, it would be that one. However, I feel like it's right the way it is. If to balance the best of summer and the issues with winter and it being dark, I really feel like keeping the clock change the way it is a way to go. Our parents dealt with it. Our grandparents dealt with it. Our kids can deal with it. I understand it causes some health problems. On the flip side, though, I think we have lived with it and we can continue to live with the way it is now.
But our great-grandparents did not deal with it because they just got up when the sun was up and they went to bed when the sun was down.
But, Dave, before they had the transportation we have today, every city was on a different time, and it was extremely confusing. So
Jay Evenson with the Desert News, he's the opinion editor writing about daylight saving time on Capitol Hill. Jay, in like 30 seconds, because I want to try to squeeze one more phone call in, remind us where this legislation stands on Utah's Capitol Hill right now.
There is a bill in the Utah legislature that would move us to standard time year-round, and that has passed a committee and is now on the floor of the House for consideration.
Hi, Diane. It sounds like you're sick and tired of just flipping the clock back and forth, period, the end, full stop.
It's the change that kills us. Pick one. Quit changing. So we can do daylight year-round, except the government won't let us. We can do standard year-round. The federal government will let us if the state chooses that. It's the change that kills our kids. And I was in a bad car accident on the morning in April. Monday morning on the way to work, I rear-ended a car. I was healthy. I was fine. But I must have had brain fog from the change.
Yeah, there's actually a term for that. It's called a microsleep. We have microsleeps during that time of change where we just kind of zone out for a second or two, and that happens quite frequently.
Microsleeps.
It's one of the downsides of having an early sunset is when in the middle of traffic, when everyone's coming home at 5 o'clock, then you get the terrible lighting of the sunset where the light is just directly in your eyes if you're ever traveling west. So there's arguments on both sides. I will just say I just get so frustrated with the change and having to mix up my sleep patterns because I have to be on a pretty reliable schedule. And I have to go to sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time because we wake up so early. You just have to be on a consistent sleep schedule, and this back and forth always messes it up.
I'm with Diane. Pick one.
Just pick one. We'll adapt.
Jay Vincent, always so fun to have you in studio with us. He's opinion editor for the Deseret News. You can catch his stuff at Deseret.com and also comment on it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, comment on
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yes, please.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks,
you.
Jay. Always a great time to see you.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
Straight ahead, a lawmaker across the country is proposed legislation to force theaters, like movie theaters, to let us know the exact start time of a movie instead of having us being sitting in place when the trailers are playing, right?
Hero. The one we need. Not the one we deserve, the one we need.
That's next.
Your CPA should be the first person you think of to help you get the most from your finances. Along with extensive tax expertise, CPAs also provide personal financial planning, business growth strategies, and general accounting services. Your CPA can make valuable tax-saving suggestions that a software program can't anticipate. For more than 100 years, the Utah Association of CPAs has served the professional community as the go-to resource for education, training, and advocacy. As trusted advisors, you can expect the best when it comes to CPAs leading you to financial wellness. Hire a CPA for making the most out of your money. Go to uacpa.org. uacpa.org to find a CPA that's right for you. That's uacpa.org. Proud sponsor of the Money Making Sense podcast with Heather Kelly. Download wherever you listen to podcasts.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
April breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Milo's Rewards Week is coming, and it's kind of a big deal. Members, get ready for 7 days of up to 40% off store-wide on hundreds of items. Save on the top brands in bath, tools, paint, and more. Our biggest member deals are on January 30th through February 5th. So if you're not a loyalty member, now's the time to join for free. Lowe's knows home improvement. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
At JCW's, we think tipping might be getting a little out of hand. Like when you're asked to tip at the register before you've even been served. Or when you're at the yogurt shop and find yourself serving yourself. And don't even get us started on frosted tips making a comeback. That's why at JCW's, when you pay for a 3rd-pound ranch bacon cheeseburger, that's what you pay. And no one at the register is going to stare longingly at you while you awkwardly maneuver through the tip screen for food you don't even have yet. Honestly, we're just happy to see you at any of our 5 locations in Provo, South Jordan, Lehigh, Harriman, and American Fork. So come on in and enjoy some quality time and great food with family and friends. And we promise, we won't be pushing you for a tip.
Hey, this is Chris with JCW's, and we just want to say thank you, and especially to our loyal customers. We want you to know that at JCW's, your business is all the tip we need. JCW's, quality and a lot of it.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to goodrx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
11
7 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jessica Lowell. KSL's top story this hour, a school crossing guard has died after being hit by a car near View Elementary School in Layton this morning. Layton Police Lieutenant Travis Lyman says the 67-year-old man was in the crosswalk when he was hit by a car trying to drive through the intersection of Main Street and 1600 North.
It's controlled by a light that should be easy to see, but just especially in the morning and afternoons when there's school crossings going on, people just have to be careful and pay attention.
Police say the woman driving the car stayed on scene and is cooperating. Lyman says at this point it appears this was a tragic accident. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Ukrainian forces say they are facing the strain while they fight back against Russian forces in the east, all while the U.S. weighs sending more military aid.
Ukrainian commanders around that area, military sources are saying that essentially Ukrainian forces have withdrawn from all but 10% of Velka Novosilka. This is only actually a small faceless town in eastern Ukraine. It's normally home to a population of about 5,000, but it's also where Russia has chosen to make one of its many advances in the Donbass, and that matters because of what then potentially comes next.
ABC's Ian Panel there. Your money at this moment, Dow up 153 points. S&P has gained 47. NASDAQ up 329. Coming up, haze building up. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-292-7788. 800-292-7788.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you in search of a fulfilling career where you can work on a team that provides you room to grow, learn, and thrive every day? Focus Engineering and Surveying is looking for individuals to join their team who take pride in the customer service they provide and have a passion for their clients to be successful. No experience in engineering, CAD design, or surveying? No problem. Focus will train those who fit their team culture for rewarding careers in surveying and CAD design. If you can align with the core ideology and the Focus team culture, if you're internally driven, team-oriented, client-focused, and love personal development and growth, Focus Engineering and Surveying is the place for you. Enjoy a positive work environment and paid internship opportunities, plus fantastic benefits like great health care with 80% employer-paid premium and HSA matched up to $200 per month, 401k, vacation, even annual performance bonuses. Start your journey towards your new and fulfilling career. Apply now at FocusUtah.com. That's FocusUtah.com.
Every year, tens of thousands of people get scammed. So who exactly are the crooks behind these frauds, and what would you ask them if you could? I got the chance.
Did you ever scam anybody in Utah? Did you make a lot of money? Did you ever worry about getting in trouble? Do you worry about getting in trouble now, showing your face and talking on TV? How did you get into scamming Americans? What do you think people should know who are watching this story?
Hear the answers in this exclusive interview. Secrets from a Scammer, Thursday on KSL 5 News at 10.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's Limit Time Balance Transfer Bonus. Here's Heather Kelly.
Well, Bangerter Highway is now reopened from an earlier rollover crash, so no delays northbound through Riverton into South Jordan. We still have the closure, though, up in Layton. This is Main Street around 1600 North. Both directions are shut down due to an earlier fatal auto pedestrian crash, so it'll probably stay closed for a couple more hours. Everybody else, though, moving along quite nicely across the Wasatch Front. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Storms expected to move into southern Utah today along the Wasatch Front. We're looking at a buildup of haze through Thursday. Friday, we could see some mild storms that could continue into next week. Right now, it is 25 degrees, partly cloudy. I'm Jessica Lowell from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
This could end up being the most intriguing discussion that we've had all morning, although we had some really good ones. But Dave caught this story, and he thinks this Connecticut state senator is did you call him a hero earlier?
He's a hero. He's a hero, Debbie. In fact, I cannot believe this isn't being taken up by the federal government. The representatives and senators could probably all unite in this one cause.
Well, maybe we should tell our listeners what you're so excited about. So go ahead.
Okay, so this, is it Connecticut senator?
Yes.
State senator says we will make movie theaters tell us what time the movie actually starts. Because right now,
Wait, Dave, you say they don't?
Andy Farnsworth joins the conversation right now, and you've seen more movies than anybody, except maybe your co-host Steve Sales on the movie show. But what's the most egregious experience?
First of all, I have to qualify all this. As a critic, we get to go to the advanced screenings for most movies. They never show trailers before the critic screenings. So those actually start at the time they're supposed to. This is why I can fully empathize with this, because when I do have the occasional movie, like last week, and there's going to be another one this week that I got to go see on Thursday so I can talk about it on the movie show on Friday, I got to just pay the regular ticket, and I got to go see it. And I kid you not, 25 minutes after the official start time for what I bought on the ticket is when the actual movie starts.
25 minutes.
That's the most egregious. The least egregious, I think, was 15 minutes. But yeah, I'm just going to tell you right now, unless it's like a special promo screening that you've won tickets for, you can give yourself 15 minutes beyond what the start time is. And now that it's reserved seating, why even show up more than 15 minutes after your scheduled start time?
So, Andy, I've had a lot of questions about this, because I think there's probably some value to movie trailers. But just hold the phone for just a second, because I want to lay out what this senator is pitching back in Connecticut. It would just impact movies in Connecticut, but I think it's certainly worth talking about. And it's great to have Andy here to kind of sort through this with us. So what Senator Martin Looney is requesting with this legislation is it would require that each movie advertisement or listing, so you go online, you looked at a movie listing, would separately list the actual start time of the movie, and from the movie trailers. So you're completely aware of what the actual start time is. You're not just showing up at a time that's listed on the advertisement, and then you're sitting through 20 or 25 minutes of movie trailers. And I'm there. I'm usually there at the start. I don't know why I haven't learned this lesson. I've been going to movies since I was 8 years old. You know, we understand that trailers are a big part of the movie industry, and getting us to show up to the next big movie that's coming out and enticing us to be aware of the movie. But I show up at the time that is listed on my app or in the advertisement every single time. And I'm sorry, but I'm through my bucket of popcorn and my large Coke by the time the actual movie starts.
Oh, that's so true. Yep. I've totally done that. Debbie, I'd forgotten that element of it. Yeah, 25 minutes, that popcorn bucket's empty.
Snacks in my mouth, and I am not pacing myself appropriately. And then the movie starts, and you know what? I don't want to leave my seat.
This may not shock you, but you can actually order treats from your seat. You think that doesn't factor into when they're kind of calculating all this stuff?
Okay.
You've run out of food. Now the movie started. Better refill.
I see.
They'll come to your seat, some of them.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there's
secrets you know about.
There's a couple things going on, Andy, and this is one of the frustrations I have. Is I will go to, say, a family-friendly movie, and we'll sit down, and the trailers don't always sync up with the movie that we're there to see. And I will remember we were going to Harry Potter, or it was like Toy Story 97. I can't remember which movie it was, but it was clearly just a family movie. And there were like horror previews. Like, here's the upcoming scary movie. I'm like, I've got little 6-year-olds over here. I'm like, don't watch this one, buddy. They did not mesh well.
No, and I don't think that the theater has a lot of say in that. This is one where the studios decide and they negotiate which trailers they're going to attach to which films. These are things that I've read about in the trades. They actually, I do know this, that the studios will send people to check to make sure certain trailers play before certain movies. They actually pay people to go and count the number of people who are in the theater seats during each trailer to return that info to the studio. That's a trade secret.
Okay, so trailers in general. Like, can I share my trailer story?
Yeah. Please do.
I love trailers.
It's awesome.
Trailers are great.
I really do.
They're better than the movie sometimes.
Sometimes they are. Yeah, and they're really fun. I will never forget. I was sitting down for Harry Potter, and there was this movie that pops up, this trailer that pops up. It was a movie called Warrior.
This is impossible. The two men fighting for the championship tonight are brothers.
I'm watching this trailer. It is the best produced trailer I've ever seen. You know, it's like a story within a story. It's a couple minutes long. The music's amazing. I listened to that one moment where they reveal basically, you know, this unbelievable part of the story. They're brothers. They're fighting. It's like Rocky and Apollo are brothers. I start crying.
Wow.
In the previews.
During the trailer.
During the trailer, I'm like, this looks like the greatest movie in history. And it ended up being the greatest movie in history. I love that. But there's times when I want the full movie experience. So I'm not trying to badmouth trailers per se.
Yeah.
Because I do. I think that's an entertaining way to maybe even ramp you up and get you in the mood for the movie. But when I was raising kids and I had a babysitter, then I'm paying for 30 extra minutes because we are watching one trailer and one promo and one movie trivia fact after another. I'm like, I cannot believe I'm paying for this.
That is a real legit concern. And honestly, I think that this is a natural outcome. What this state senator wants to do is something we've all felt. You know, sometimes your state legislator may not talk about the thing that you necessarily relate to, but I don't know anybody who goes to a movie who doesn't feel this just a little bit. I love the trailer experience too. And I mean, we've gotten used to watching trailers on YouTube and on our phones and stuff, and that's still cool. But there's nothing like seeing the trailer for a movie that's upcoming on that giant screen. So I am all for that experience. The frustrating part is, like you're saying, it's 30 more minutes than you thought. That's something that really enters into my mind, you know. As you watch, by the number of movies I watch, I start to calculate, like, how much time am I going to have to invest in this movie? Because not every movie that I watch is one that I'm, like, super excited to watch. So, The Brutalist is almost 4 hours. Thank heavens they didn't have trailers before that one, or it would have gone over the 4-hour mark that I would have been in the theater.
Yes.
But back in the day, they showed trailers before movies.
Yeah.
But they just started them before the movie show start time. Now, maybe it's the thing. And as long as theaters, and I don't know, again, if this is theaters or the studios, as long as they're going to show me commercials during that 20-minute block, I don't feel the same obligation. I've paid a ticket to see this movie. I didn't pay a ticket to see the commercial also. This is why I paid to see the movie, was so I don't have to watch the commercial.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people feel like that.
We're talking live right now with Andy Farnsworth. He's one of the hosts of our movie show Fridays right here from 11 to 1 on KSL News Radio. And additionally, he hosts Utah's Morning News with Amanda. And we're talking about this legislation that's been pitched in the state of Connecticut. So it's a state senator back in Connecticut who is pitching that movie theaters be required to list the actual start time of the movie separately from like when the trailers start. So if the trailers are going to start at 8 p.m., but the actual movie starts at 8:25 p.m., my read of this legislation would be that the advertisement also has to state when the actual movie starts. 801-575-TALK. Do you like it or not? Hi, Jacob.
Do we have you with us, Jacob?
Oh,
in Tooele?
I'm sorry. 801-575-TALK. We're looking for phone calls. So if if you've ever been to one of these movies that, the trailers just seem to go on and on and on. You have your 3 or 4 kids with you at the time, and, you didn't realize it was going to start a half an hour late. Weigh in. Do you like this idea? It's interesting that they're going to legislate it, though. I mean, we're talking so much about, should legislative bodies be involved in legislating, private industry, and this is one of those cases.
One of the things I chuckle about is we may think this is too insignificant to require, but I will say this: one of my favorite things that President Biden did during his 4 years was he required junk fees to be disclosed. So if you're going to go to a concert, or if you're going to go to a ball game, that Ticketmaster and StubHub and SeatGeek, all these folks, they have to tell you how much it's going to cost right out of the gate with all the fees. So you can't just say, hey, the ticket's going to cost you $30, but it's going to cost you $60 after all the fees. I love that truth. Just give me the truth of what's the ticket really going to cost. Just give me the truth. What time is the movie actually going to start? Because if I don't want to pay that extra half an hour for a babysitter, I want to be able to make that decision myself. And if you want the experience, if you want to enjoy the trailers, then awesome. Then show up. But this little, I'm going to try to conceal this and lure you in, creates a negative environment, for my opinion.
Yeah, well, and that's where I think the backlash comes from. I can't really disagree 100% with the point that maybe this is something the government shouldn't have to mandate. But I feel like there's some way, maybe by bringing it up, they can get the businesses to take some action on their own. Look, if the reason is they need the advertising dollars and they need to show the advertisers that they're bringing people in because not enough people are going to movies, I'm all for a business doing what they have to do to stay open. I want to go to the movie theater, so what they've got to do to stay open, to me, I've got to give them some leeway. That's just my personal feeling on that. But I feel like there's other ways around it too. Like maybe you disclose, okay, the movie's going to start at 8:25, but if you're in your seat at 8:20 and you're maybe a member of our rewards club, there's prizes that you can win during that 25 minutes. Or, hey, if you can answer this question about the trailer, or we'll show this thing during the trailer and you text us, like find a motivation for people so that this becomes a voluntary option, and then they don't feel like they're wasting their time.
Marianne, you live in Provo. Do you go to a lot of movies, and do you watch all the trailers when you go there?
I go to a lot of movies, and often I don't make it in time to get to see all the trailers, but we all know there's trailers. We can show up if we want to watch them, and if we don't, then we don't need to show up that early. And I would love to know the time of the ending of the movie. That's what I wish they would publish.
Yeah, I do a lot of back timing when it comes to movies. Like if it says it's an hour and 40 minutes, but I'm not sure if the trailers are going to run 15 minutes or 25. Is there an average length of time, Andy, that you've figured out trailers run so we know how to just show up right as the movie's starting if that's what we want to do?
Well, if you're going on an opening weekend, you can guarantee it's going to be in the 20 to 25 minute range of stuff because they know that's the biggest audience and the biggest chance they have. The more weeks into a run, here's another thing too, the more weeks into a run, the more the movie theater gets to keep of your ticket price. So if you can wait a couple of weeks, the movie theaters can also benefit that way.
Our
local theaters, yeah. And they are likely to shorten the amount of trailers in part because they can get an extra screening in maybe during the day.
Let's jump out to Ken in Farmington. What do you think, Ken?
I think that, boy, of all of the things that state legislators could be working on in the United States right now, mandating the start time be published of a movie is really not anywhere on anybody's priority list. If I go to a movie that says it starts at 8, I know that it doesn't really mean 8. It means about 8:25 or 8:30. And the nice thing about newer theaters is if you get there at 25 after, you're not having to crawl through the laps of people if you've got the middle seats. And they really have quite a bit of rooms in the aisle, so you're not inconvenient. They may have to close their recliner or whatever to let me through. But I think this is really kind of silly that anybody would bring this up. I'm glad it's not here in Utah and it's back east somewhere.
Ken, thank you for the phone call. I will say this: the state legislature will pass somewhere around 400 to 500 bills over the 45-day legislative session. I think they can squeeze this one in. This one in.
This is a midnight on day 44 and a half.
And it will be completely loved by everybody. Jake and Magna, what do you think?
I think that at least letting people know the time is totally fine. I don't want to do away with the commercials because we live in a time where we're paying for subscriptions to be ad-free, so I don't know what new movies are coming out. And the movie If, the one that recently came out, made by John Krasinski, I wouldn't have seen it without having watched a previous movie in the theater that showed its trailer, and it's one of my wife and I's favorite.
Nice.
Which
That's
one?
awesome. Did you say If? If.
Yes.
Yeah.
If done
yeah.
by John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Yeah, Imaginary Friends. That's right. Oh, that's a good example. Yeah, we do get introduced to movies through trailers that maybe we wouldn't naturally gravitate to. I never would have found Warrior if it wasn't for a trailer because it was not a blockbuster movie, even though I had some stars, Nick Nolte, Tom Hardy. It was not one of those big releases. It was the trailer that hooked me. And it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Andy's probably been hooked that way too sometimes.
Well, you know what else helps you find good movies is the movie show Fridays from 11 to 1 on KSL News Radio. I'm just saying.
Hi, John.
Hi.
Do you have a way to figure out what the actual start time is of a movie?
I would love to know that ahead of time. At the same time, I wanted to make a comment that the ushers, the ticket agents, they will let you know if you ask them actually what time the movie starts and what time it ends. They'll have that information on a sheet of paper in front of them, and they'll let you know that. However, as far as commercial goes, I like the movie commercials, but I don't care much for the other commercials.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I love the trailers. I do not need a commercial in the middle of the trailers.
For like a
dividing it up.
car.
Oh, yeah. No,
maybe popcorn and drinks. Okay.
Is that a way for the business to earn more money?
I'm sure it is. Yeah. I mean, you can tell literally how many people are seeing it.
Which commercials do. I mean, they give businesses generally more money, but I just wondered what was because I don't remember seeing commercials when I was younger going to movies. I always remember, there's always been trailers as far as I don't remember how many trailers or how many minutes of trailers there were back in the day when I was going to movies. It seems to me that this is anecdotal, that it's longer and longer that I'm sitting there waiting, and you measure it in kernels of popcorn that you've consumed.
Well, but I also think this goes to the reserved seating versus the old style, where if you wanted the good seat, you had to get there early so you could pick your seat. Otherwise, you were stuck with just like the corner one or the front row, and you don't want to sit on the front row. So you'd get there early to get the seat you wanted. And then what were you supposed to do? Just stare at the curtain for a half an hour? So they started putting things before. The problem is now they stopped telling you the start time so you could make that decision yourself. And maybe it's because of the reserved seating that I know it's kind of my thing. Like, hey, I know I've got my seat. I know where it is. And if I don't really want to watch the trailers, I can just show up right at the moment that the movie starts.
I'm always
terrified.
terrified.
If you've got to go to the bathroom, well, let's call it like it is. If you got 30 minutes before you thought the movie was going to start and you drank your 32-ounce Diet Coke, you're not going to finish the movie.
I'm in trouble. Yeah, I mean, it's like I know that I'm in trouble at that point. And the thing you just said, though, I didn't know this, is that check your app because you might be able to order that popcorn refill right at your seat. Because the other issue I struggle with is, now do I want to get up and use the facilities and then go get another bucket of popcorn, or I usually just end up sitting there the whole time. But one of our listeners at 57500, Andy, said when she went to see Wicked, I think the movie that she said was Wicked, between the trailer and the movie itself and the drive, it was like a 4-hour. And I came downtown at Gateway Megaplex to watch Wicked, and I loved it, had a great time, but it was 4 hours. It was the entire afternoon.
Yeah, and I do recommend you check the runtime. That's what it's called. If you want to look it up, look up runtime, the name of your movie runtime in any search engine, and it'll tell you what the actual. And by the way, that includes the credits, so you can usually chop off about 10 minutes from the runtime, unless, like Marvel, they make you stay through the whole credits. But that's another little hack, is take 10 minutes off whatever the runtime is, because that's about how long the credits are.
Well, Andy, thank you. I'm against some of you folks out there that think, you know what, this is too small for the legislature to address. I am 100%. I can't. It should be an executive order tomorrow. President Trump, give us the real times in movie theaters, what time the start time is, when the end time is. I want all the information. So, Andy, thank you. Look forward to the movie show this Friday.
Thanks, guys.
Straight ahead, there's been a buzz on Capitol Hill this morning when it comes to air taxis, and Utah is one step closer to air taxis. We're going to get the scoop on this latest step in taking flight next.
Join the smartest conversation in Utah, the team of analysts and political advisors that make up Inside Sources. Get unfiltered analysis of the new administration, the president's cabinet, and Utah's upcoming legislative session. Inside Sources, weekdays from 1 to 3 on KSL News Radio.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Utah State Fair Park. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Utah State Fair Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Utah State Fair Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Utah State Fair Park. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Utah State Fair Park. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Utah State Fair Park. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Things are just better with a partner or a friend. And when it comes to losing weight, Soda Weight Loss makes it easier than ever to let go of the weight for good.
I'd been wanting to lose weight, and I tried on my own. I'd been seeing things for soda, and so we talked to the nutritionist and loved every bit of it. You know, I couldn't be happier, honestly, with the result.
Join with a partner and only pay for one. Imagine achieving all your weight loss goals together with your partner, and you only pay for one.
I've let go 50 pounds, and I don't have the cravings that I used to have.
I would definitely recommend soda. It's because it works. I even recommended it to my daughter, and she's on her journey now.
Just go and look at the almost 9,000 Google reviews about soda weight loss. Lose the weight without injections, without medications, without hunger. Get started now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program in the John M. Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. Some people think if they repeat something that's false enough times, it'll become true. In the age of artificial intelligence, that's doubly dangerous. AI can sometimes access the wrong data and produce wrong outputs. However, we might mistakenly think that that information from AI is always correct because it is from AI. Computers will never replace humans in moral judgments and in fact determination. AI is intelligence, but not ethical judgment. We need to make sure that we continue to make those judgments, even though AI will give us more information and be very useful. To learn more about ethical decision making, consider an MBA from Utah State University. Go to utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Claire Scott. KSL's top local story this hour. A crossing guard was hit and killed in Layton this morning near Bayview Elementary School. The man was 67 years old and was in a crosswalk at 1600 North and Main Street when he was hit. No kids were hurt, but police say some did witness it and are now getting help at school. The driver remained on the scene. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. President Trump has signed an executive order that could pave the way for a total ban on transgender service members in the military.
The Pentagon doesn't keep statistics and data on this, so it's not quite clear what type of population we're talking about, how many people would actually be impacted on this. But certainly this executive order goes even further than what the president had signed last week and does open the door to that ban on transgender people serving in the U.S. military.
That's ABC's Karen Travers, who says the order is already facing legal challenges from rights groups. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 176 points, S&P up 52. And coming up, hazy sunshine this week. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:31.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Social Security is with you through life's journey from birth to retirement. As your life changes year to year, so do your needs. For over 80 years, Social Security has helped to meet your needs and is committed to improving access to the services that make a difference in your life. Today, you can verify your earnings, estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, manage your benefits, and even change your address, all from the comfort of your home. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Here's Ricky Meese.
Valley Freeway traffic rolling along and looking good. No problems there, but in Davis County, we still have the clearing of an earlier fatal accident that still has 1600 North Main Street in Layton closed to traffic. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sunny skies over the next few days. The haze sticks around until a storm moves in on Saturday. High of 38 today. Temperatures move into the 40s on Thursday. Right now it is 30 and fair. I'm Claire Scott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Eye on the Hill 2025. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
Well, we've been keeping an eye on a development on Capitol Hill that has to do with air taxis. And Dave and I have been spending a lot of time over the last couple of months, quite frankly, talking about the reality of air taxis. And today something happened on Capitol Hill that moves us one step closer to taking flight to get from here to there.
Which shocks me on several different levels. Number one, I thought the whole air taxi idea was pie in the sky, Jetsons. Hey, this wouldn't be amazing, right? As having something crazy like this.
Meet George Jetson.
We all remember this. I mean, this goes back to the 50s. And we all thought, oh, wouldn't a flying car be unbelievable? And so when we were first started to talk about air taxis, I thought, this is still just a wish. And it's starting to become a reality.
In a moment, we're going to talk about the step that was taken this morning with Utah Governor Spencer Cox and a couple of companies that specialize in this type of technology that I think is a huge step forward and takes it out of that pie in the sky, maybe one day mode, and into like it's going to happen. And I'm curious to know how soon it's going to happen in Utah. But you remember last summer, Dave, you and I were sitting on the shores of Utah Lake talking about water safety. And as part of our show that day, we asked UDOT's Paul Damron to call in because he's the Advanced Air Mobility Manager. And it just so happened on the day that you and I were covering like water safety, which we do a lot here, this story popped up. And you wanted to talk about air taxis and vertiports and what it means for the future. And UDOT has already been working on this concept. But the question is like, okay, how soon are we going to have this where we have what's called vertiports where air taxis can take off from, and where are they going to fly us to?
So a vertiport is in nature like a heliport, but it's meant for the new era of transportation that's coming, considered as air taxis, as most people call it, or our generation, we call it the Jetsons. The vertiports will be a location that electric vertical landing and takeoff aerial vehicles can land within communities, in parking lots like you had mentioned, and get us closer to our destinations and get us off of the congested roads.
Now, the rich and the famous have been doing this with helicopters for years, right? This is not brand new, jumping from spot to spot, hopping from spot to spot. With the helicopter, what I think makes this unique is it sounds like the air taxi is being designed not for the super ultra famous, the Bill Gates of the world, the Elon Musk of the world, but where someone like you and I could use it. We could afford to do this.
What's your appetite for taking an air taxi?
Number one, the fascination and the curiosity, sky high. Yeah. Right? I would absolutely do that.
It'd be like a bucket list.
It totally would be.
You want to try it once.
I would love to try it.
And then maybe more. Yeah.
But you would have to bring it down to a price point where I could justify it.
What's that?
Now, what's an Uber?
Depends on where you're going.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, let's say you go 5 or 10 miles, but it's downtown, it's a little congested.
$25-$30, but you're still stuck in traffic in an Uber. Just pointing that out.
Okay,
right?
so I would pay an Uber plus a premium of $10-$15.
Okay.
So if you could have it in the realm of Uber plus a little convenience fee or a direct flight, then all of a sudden that becomes legitimate.
Are you willing to drive to a vertiport to park your car there and then jump on an air taxi to wherever it is you need to go? Or do you expect air taxis to land in front of your home like an Uber does?
Yeah.
Pick you up and then swoop you to wherever it is.
Ideally, obviously, you want it to be picking you up at your house, right? So you're not having to drive somewhere to go. But if you're talking about traveling to a football game where it's going to be downtown congestion misery and you can just drive and then jump on the vertiport, then that's where I see myself using it.
Consistently or just once in a while?
No, for sure. Yeah, I despise fighting the traffic of concerts and games so much, then I could see myself building that into the entire,
where we've
vacation.
Talked about it happening in the not too distant future is at the Point project down at the point of the mountain where they're building commercial, they're building homes, and the potential to have vertiports there to then take off and fly us, whoever lives there or whoever works there, whoever wants to drop their car out there, for example, to the airport. I cannot tell you how many times I have left the house too late, whether driving myself or in an Uber, and I regret it. And I'm like, then it's like the world is working against you in that moment. there's more traffic than you ever predicted, and you're stuck in traffic trying to get, and then if you're driving yourself, you got to park in long term and you got to walk into the, so I'm really curious to know what happened today on Capitol Hill that moved us one step closer to air taxis. Live on the line right now is the CEO and founder of Beta Technologies, Kyle Clark. And it sounds like, and we watched it actually, we watched a live feed of this, Kyle. It sounds like you signed something with the governor of Utah today to move us one step closer to air taxis.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is Kyle Clark from Beta Technologies. We over here at the Capitol right now, actually. We just executed a memorandum of understanding with industry trade group 47G with the governor to start implementing advanced air mobility in Utah.
So what does that mean? Is it symbolic, or does this actually move us one step closer?
Well, it's more than symbolic. It started a couple of years ago where Utah decided it was going to be the leader in bringing what you're calling air taxis, which is really a whole class of aircraft that lowers the cost, lowers the noise, and improves the economy of flying, and mostly around electric aviation. So they went on a nationwide search. Beta Technologies, our company, was selected to be the partner for the aircraft, and now we're putting in chargers through the Department of Transportation here in Utah at airports, and then eventually at vertiports, and we're starting by moving medical, cargo, and logistics, and then moving people over the next 2 years.
2 years? That feels like basically tomorrow. That's pretty quick.
Well,
and would this be at the beginning, Kyle? Would this be to get people back and forth to the airport?
Yeah, that's one great application. That's one where it makes a lot of sense. Also moving, for us, moving cargo and logistics, specifically medical cargo and logistics, at a lower cost between airports and between hospitals and airports. That's the first step, and then the people come. So as soon as this fall, those charging systems start to get sited, and back in Vermont, where we put the airplanes together, it's interesting. A lot of the parts of the airplanes are made in Utah, shipped to Vermont. We put them together, and then fly the airplanes back out here. And over the next year, we start flying cargo, logistics, and then people.
One of the things that comes to mind, and I can't help but think of this because just a couple of days ago, it was the anniversary of Kobe Bryant passing away, and he was in a helicopter. He was in a private helicopter, and he crashed. So I can't help but think about safety issues and have things changed, or is this a better technology than traditional helicopters?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, electric is fundamentally safer than turbine and Jet A-powered helicopters and airplanes. Not only are you flying a much less volatile energy storage, but it's implemented in a modern airplane. In the case of Kobe Bryant, terrain awareness, flying IFR or flying instruments in VFR flight plans, that's not a thing with our type of aircraft. It's an instrument-rated aircraft out of the gates. So you stay out of terrain, you stay out of confliction with other airplanes because you have all the sensors, systems, and awareness that comes effectively for free when you field a modern aircraft. Then on top of that, it's built on technologies that are safer than the existing technologies, and that's the bar that the FAA has set.
I want to, Kyle, before we let you go, by the way, CEO and founder of Beta Technologies, Kyle Clark, live on the line with us, the governor, Beta Technologies, and another firm have entered into what's called a memorandum of understanding to really launch us into what will eventually become air taxis for humans. I just need you, and if you can do this in 30 seconds or less, that would be awesome. Paint us a picture of what these craft will look like.
Yeah, so we built the factory. We're flying them every day. I'm one of the test pilots. 7,000-pound aircraft, 50-foot wingspan, about 20 feet tall, and you put 6 to 8 people in it. You take off like a helicopter by pushing air down with 4 electric fans powered by 16 electric motors. For about 30 seconds, you accelerate forward, and then you shut those fans off, and you fly on a wing. And when you get to the other end at your destination, you actually turn those fans back on for about 30 seconds, and you make a runway in the sky. You decelerate, you slow down, and you land on a spot just like a helicopter. It's quiet. The visibility is amazing. The propellers are all away from you. and the engines don't make any noise. So you just have like the whooshing sound of the fans pushing you around. It's a spectacular, like amazing way to fly. It really feels great.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. This is so intriguing to me. Kyle Clark, Beta Technologies CEO and founder. Looks like we're one step closer, like a real step closer to seeing air taxis in Utah.
Straight ahead, the Utah legislature, there's a lawmaker who's pitching a plan to pay kids to go to school. We'll give you the details next.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. For years, RC Willey has been dedicated to helping customers create spaces that truly feel like home. With an extensive selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, flooring, and outdoor essentials, they're committed to delivering the best products and an exceptional shopping experience. CEO Scott Hymas joins us with more.
At RC Willey, we understand the comfort and warmth of walking through your front door, ready to relax and make memories. For over 93 years, we've been dedicated to helping our customers create spaces in their homes where they can truly feel at home. Starting in Utah and expanding to Idaho, Nevada, and later California, we build a reputation for offering a great selection, a seamless shopping experience, and exceptional customer service. In fact, our commitment to these values earned us a spot on Forbes' Best Customer list. Whether you're furnishing cozy apartments, modern townhomes, or spacious dream homes, we offer a wide range of products to fit every need. In addition to furniture and appliance and electronics, we provide flooring and outdoor essentials such as patio furniture, fire pits, and grills. At RC Willey, our mission is real simple. We're here to make you feel truly at home. Visit us at one of our stores or at rcwilley.com to begin your experience.
RC Willey's commitment to customer service goes beyond providing quality products. Their dedication to ensuring every customer feels supported and valued makes them a trusted partner in creating the perfect place to call home. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Healthcare with human kindness is here. It's at Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Together, we have a common purpose, partnering with you in health and healing using powerful medicine, powerful technology, and the greatest power of all, human kindness. You'll know it when you see it, because human kindness is in every care site and in every caregiver. Common Spirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
The murder of two men forces their families to wrestle with impossible questions. Who is forgiveness for? Does everyone deserve a second chance? Follow Season 2 of The Letter, Ripple Effect, at theletterpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Dave, and Dujanovic.
Eye on the Hill 2025. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
A Utah lawmaker is pitching a plan, Dave. And we don't know if this is actually going to become a pilot program as it's been pitched, where it'll go into a few schools and some kids will give it a test run. But in a nutshell, the plan says, let's pay kids up to $400 a year to show up to public school. And the reason, it's an out-of-the-box idea, is because they're having a problem in schools with chronic absenteeism. So is this a solution?
I do not think this is a solution for a couple different reasons. Number one, kids, they shouldn't be incentivized. We shouldn't have to dangle a lollipop to get them to do school, right?
It's an expensive lollipop.
A very expensive lollipop. Like this should just be the expectation. End of story. Don't ask any questions. Like I shouldn't have to entice you every step of the way in every aspect of your life. You go to school because that's the requirement. And legally here in Utah, you are legally required to send your kid to school. And if you don't, you're subject to be to receive a misdemeanor.
Okay. All right. But really,
there's a crackdown.
I mean, if the objective is
I didn't write the law.
Get kids to go to school, I think the threat of their parents being held responsible and criminally responsible just feels a lot. And to me, what this is, look, we have not come up with, I don't see, a good solution right now to the problem of chronic absenteeism. And that means that kids are missing, 10%, 18 days of a school year or more. And we have been talking about this since the pandemic. It was less of an issue, but still an issue before the pandemic. And if we haven't come up with a solution to get kids to school by now, I don't see a harm in trying a pilot program that'll, I think it'll be tested out in, 10 schools. If this even gets through the legislature, I mean, that's a big if. 10 schools or, a handful of kids in each school, they get up to $400 a year to be incentivized to go to school. Like, to me, it sounds like we're just generally doing something wrong in public education. No shame at all to what public educators are doing. It just may be that kids these days need something different than what you and I grew up with to entice them to get to school. Additionally, we know that bullying, shaming at school is a big problem, and it has been. And a lot of times that our kids hide that from us because they're ashamed or they're embarrassed and they're picked on. And so they find reasons to feel ill every single morning so they don't have to show up for school. And I think we acknowledge that has been a real problem. It's not only a problem online we're acknowledging, but it's also a problem that's been around for decades in our schools. So if we're not getting to the root of why these kids aren't showing up to school, maybe a little money will help. And then they don't just get it, in cash handed to them as they leave the school at the end of the school year. It goes into a college fund, a 529, so that they can save money to maybe move to the next level of their education.
Now, you say chronic absenteeism. That's really who we're talking about is the chronically absent, missing almost 20 days of school during a school year. That's an entire month, right? So what we're looking at is before the pandemic, this chronically absent number of kids was 16%. So, which is higher than I would have thought, but 16% of kids were chronically absent. Well, after the pandemic, it peaked to 30%. So it nearly doubled. What's the problem here? In the last several years, what went from mildly a problem to being a serious issue where 1 in 3 kids nearly are chronically absent? So something happened during that time, and we haven't been able to solve that. Now, it's dropped down to more like 22, 23%, but that is still much higher than it was. So I think we got to look at the core issue, because all of the things you talked about, whether it's bullying or not inspired to go to school, those have always existed on some level. So what is the solution? And I don't think buying our kids or paying them $400 a year is the right move, because this is a multi-million-dollar, hundreds of millions of dollars potentially of an investment to get kids to do what they're supposed to do anyway, which is just show up to school.
I just want to give a few details. This is House Bill 206. If you want to look it up yourself on the legislative website, you can. It would initially, the pilot project, I think I said 10 schools. It's 5 schools that will participate in this pilot program, a maximum of 100 students per school. So initially a maximum of 100 students, maybe max 500 students total, and they could earn up to $400 for maintaining a 90% or better attendance. Would you be willing to give it a try to see if it's effective, to see if it helps 500 kids or so get to class, recognize the value of being in school, and maybe during that time where they're paid to be in school, they latch onto something that they really love and drives them to keep coming back to class? Because I look at the what if. What if we just let these kids go? We just keep saying, 26% chronic absenteeism, just where we're going to settle in. What happens when they age out of high school? They haven't gotten their high school diploma, and just generally they have an feeling about school together. Then what happens? You talk about money and how much this will cost. Well, how much does that cost in the future?
You're right. The research shows that if you don't graduate from high school, your prospects are so severely limited. Criminality goes up. So I agree. We have to get kids back. This is why I think even the pilot program is dangerous, because if it does work, do you have $260 million every single year that you are going to potentially throw at this problem? It's a very expensive solution. Before we tackle this, let's find one that doesn't cost $250 million every single year.
Straight ahead, Maria Chaleos is up next. We got some very sad news. It broke during the show today that we had a crossing guard who was killed after he was hit by a car in the Layton area this morning. Maria and our team of reporters and producers, Adam Small